Hey everybody, and welcome back here to the IESF World Championships. It's another day here of casting some great old-fashioned Dota 2. My name is Cryptic. I'm here with Neff. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you.
I am doing amazing, Ricky. Thank you very much. And today should be particularly exciting, not only because we get to see some big names today, but the ranks of all these players have upped quite a bit. I know you were very excited about both the Peru and Brazilian rosters, but we have several top 100 players on the Americas leaderboard on the Argentinian roster as well. Both Wiz and Hermit, I believe, ranks like 95 and 36, respectively. So some high-level Dota going to be played today here in IESF.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing that got me excited leading into today. You know, we do have like two really crucial best of ones for all these teams. Obviously, the Brazil versus Peru series that's coming up later today is probably the one that's going to have most people tuning in for it. But yeah, Argentina's got some solid players on them as well. Some DPC veterans for sure. And seeing these two teams go head to head is going to be, a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Now, we are pretty familiar with everybody on Brazil's roster, are we not?
Yeah, so let's take a look at Argentina here, right? You mentioned Widge and Hermit. Those are probably the two big ones that a lot of people would recognize, I think, just out of the gate. But tell us a little bit more about some of these other players here.
Well, DLC's rank 833 Immortal player. He's been playing a lot of Techies and Earthspear, which are very aggressive players or heroes inside the current patch. So no surprise that he's been seeing a lot of success with that one lately. And of course, we have the mid and safe laners outside of that, which of course are Shifu and Gork. I didn't have time to do a ton of research.
Yeah, not to be confused with Gorp.
Gork, right? Of course, the European evil
different
version of him.
Yes. This is the much more grounded, normal player.
But I am most excited today about watching Wish. This man has bounced around to a dozen really good teams. He currently plays for X5 Gaming in the DPC. It should be very exciting seeing what he brings to the table as a captain for this roster. I actually had a short opportunity to work with him as he was trying out for a team that I was kind of overseeing. It didn't end up working out, but Wish was just like an amazing leader during that time and some amazing plays as well. So excited to see him and cast some of his games again.
Right on. Yeah, I'm excited. We'll see how it does. I think the one thing that I'm probably going to keep my eyes on the most for Argentina is probably Hermit. I think he's definitely an underrated offlaner at the moment. He looked very good last season in the DPC. I think he honestly started grabbing my attention during the last BTS Pro Series we covered. I believe he was playing in there as well. But he's looking good now. But I guess we could maybe take some time to look at a team that a lot of people might recognize the players on. So how about we take a look at Team Brazil and what they're bringing to the plate here today?
Sure. I mean, I am most familiar myself with Hiko, offlane player. Man, is absolutely amazing. Zeus has been on a dozen different teams as well as Mini. This is the old Spirits team, but you've been casting a lot more of them than me, Ricky. So I'm gonna let you pop off.
Yeah, so a while back there was this team called Team Spirits, not to be confused with the other Team Spirit in Eastern Europe. They eventually got the name changed to No Runes, where they had a lot of success on. They actually made their ways into the DPC. They got picked up under Infamous R, where they competed in a recent tournament and then made their way to Division 1, where Infamous dropped their primary roster and made this roster their new primary roster. So they've been doing really good. They've had a lot of success lately. Suits is standing in the mid lane basically for this team, as he is the only player, I think, from the original roster that is not Brazilian. I'll have to see if I can double check.
It's a
who
40R, who's
it's
originally
40R.
going to be the mid laner, but it looks like they have Suits playing for them instead. I am a little bit curious about what that is about, but maybe we'll find out later partway through the match. I'll see if I can shoot Hiko a message and get him to tell me.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, these guys are all-stars. They've got a ton of experience under their belt. They've been playing together for a very long time. And overall, they've looked really good. I will say 40R is a hard person to replace in the mid lane. Like, he does have a pretty unique hero pool. I think a lot of the all-star South American players have a unique hero pool in the mid lane. They usually pull out some interesting stuff here and there. But we'll see what Suits is bringing to the table, because that is, like you said, that's going to be the big question mark for me.
Okay, I actually got the information from chatting with Hiko just now. He told me that the reason they have Suits instead of 40R is they were already with Suits when they began this tournament, so they have to stick with him currently.
Got it. That makes sense. Looks like they're having a little bit of lobby issues, but they're getting ready to go here in just a moment, and we'll be able to see what these two teams are cooking for this best of one, which it's going to be really interesting, right? Because best of ones are pure chaos, right? You think you have a plan, and then suddenly the team pulls out some wonky strat, and then they get the better of you in a best of one, and suddenly you're out. Like your chances of making it a lot more difficult now. So do you think Argentina has what it takes to maybe take the best of one here over Brazil?
I absolutely think that this game is takeable. Again, we saw kind of some one-sided stomp on our first day here, a little bit more of a back and forth yesterday, but given the ranks of all these players, I don't think it is that outlandish that Argentina would manage to take a single game in a best of one off of Brazil, who, despite the fact they are a team that plays together in the DPC, Infamous is a very solid squad. this Argentina lineup is no pushover. So you do have a lot of information to work with on the side of Argentina as well, and that can kind of be as much of an advantage as Brazil having a lot of experience playing together. So when you have two of these very high-level teams, it's like how much cohesion do we have for playing together versus how much information we have to kind of pick apart Brazil's strategies here.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I mean, I think overall today should be a lot more fun. I will say yesterday's series was definitely really entertaining, despite it being a 2-0, right? But the match between Colombia and Costa Rica was really fun.
Game one was so good.
Dude, yeah, it really was. Costa Rica, like, putting some pretty nuts game plans together and kind of coming back, made it, a little, I wouldn't say a little bit of like unexpected victory, because I think going into it, we both had kind of thought Costa Rica had the better drafts, but the execution, I would say, in team fights was the thing that was really surprising. Like, they played really well.
Well, we'll see if Argentina can kind of bring out that brilliance here against Brazil. Again, it is no easy matter overcoming an actual country team that has been played together under the banner of Infamous for quite some time. They're going to have the work cut out for them here. I do think that this is going to be easier for Brazil to deal with than the Peru lineup. Some super strong players in that team, but we'll worry about that one later. First, let's worry about the draft here of Argentina versus Brazil.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, well, I guess we can go ahead and take a look at the draft here we got going for Brazil and Argentina. And honestly, it's just the bans that are a little bit interesting to me. Like I said, I think the scariest person on the side of Argentina, the player that I'm probably most worried about, is Hermit. And they actually just ban both offlaners right out of the gate. They get rid of Beastmaster as well as a Broodmother. Not a hero we've seen all that much, but I personally think this hero is pretty decent. So I'm curious as to maybe if Hermit's been spamming that one a little bit recently. But
yeah,
Argentina
I actually did do a little bit of research on Hermit before the game, and he's been his first and his third most played offline heroes are Beastmaster and Broodmother. So yeah, obviously targeting him, just trying to keep their highest ranked player from having things that he's most comfortable with.
He played a lot of Brood in previous patches, right? Especially when Broodmother was really broken. But I don't know if I've seen him playing it a lot recently. They go ahead and grab the Spirit Breaker here on Argentina, which this hero is looking stronger and stronger by the day. So I'm a little bit curious where they end up running this. I think it's most often been in the 3, right?
Yep. It has most often been in 3. Every so often we see it in position 4. We saw it pause 4 yesterday, and he looked a little bit lost on the Spirit Breaker. He's kind of sitting by the shrines, not sure where to go. Ended up getting shut down fairly early on in the game, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think the hero still is very powerful. Not as much in the position 4, though. Again, I think that you just need to be able to place yourself in a lane and continue to farm up and get those first couple of important items, and then charging through creep waves and continuing to build yourself up becomes a little bit easier. If you end up a little bit lost, you find yourself just kind of sapping XP and not really assisting in the lane, then Spirit Breaker doesn't feel as strong.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm a little bit surprised that we see the Mars first phase here. This is just... I feel like South America is the only region that still picks the Mars, to be honest. Dark Mago specifically, right, takes it into the mid lane for Beast Coast quite often. But this is not Beast Coast. So I'm curious, like, where they kind of plan to take the Mars. My guess would be the off lane, because Mars Techies is still very strong. But Mars doesn't really fit the meta right now in the offlane of just like building auras, right? This is a Blink BKB initiator type of thing. And building things like Crimson Guard and Pipe on Mars just feel really underwhelming. So maybe they plan on running it mid, but Argentina, they do manage to get the Void Spirit on 8, which is really strong as well.
Yep. Universal Heroes obviously being able to do a ton of damage and build almost anything and see success with it. So it makes sense that they would grab that here before it gets banned out in the next phase. The Mars, a little bit surprising, but it is something that Tico has played a lot of and is continuing to play quite a bit of lately. And then seeing the techies alongside it is absolutely no surprise. Everybody's playing a ton of this hero. It just does so much damage both with his right click and with his spells. Again, not surprised to see that. Bloodseeker, Ember Spirit, both banned out. Makes sense that you would want to take out the Bloodseeker here. It stops Void Spirit from being able to move around the fights freely. And Ember Spirit just wants to strong mid laners that can hop around these team fights. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Queen of Pain, Storm Spirit, or Puck banned out next alongside that. Although Suits is known for his Invoker.
Well, that is true. He is. It's just that Invoker hero just feels so underwhelming recently. Like, I haven't really seen a single pro game where Invoker has been picked in the last, honestly, since 7.33 came out. Like, I don't think it's been picked in the DPC. If it has, it's been pretty underwhelming. Yeah, they actually, I think part of it was there was a bug surrounding his meteor for a while, where it literally didn't do impact damage anymore. And so, like, there was, yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but when 7.33 came out and they changed the way meteor worked or something, it no longer did any impact damage. And then it had like the talents for more damage, and it reduced the damage instead. So your meteor was doing like 10 DPS or something. Like, it was absurd. Like, it was literally just they broke the hero and made him unplayable. And it was apparently fixed, but no one's really picked him since. Yeah, but then you picked it and it made it do less damage, which is, you know, not really a good thing.
But they ban out the Morphling instead on Argentina, and then they get rid of the Pugna alongside that. So a lot of spell damage, and a sign that they might plan on picking up, you know, some pretty cast-heavy heroes here if they're worried about the Pugna. Either that, or they plan on taking a Troll Warlord, and they're very worried about something like a Decrepify just being able to shut down their team fights completely. But lots of catch now available in Brazil. Like, we talked about lineups that just run at you, especially if Mars builds like Blink Dagger, BKB. All these heroes are great at catching you, so the Spirit Breaker is going to have trouble charging out once he already commits to a fight. And we'll see what they respond to with this one, Argentina. They end up grabbing the Oracle here, so some very nice save, and it does deal with the heavy magic damage coming out so far from Brazil with that Fate's Edict.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. It'll be interesting to see what safe laner they plan to pair with this, because if it is the Mars Techies off lane, Oracle is quite good in this lane.
Yep.
Like you said, the Fate's Edict will just be able to absorb a lot of that damage. Anytime you see a blast off coming, you just Fate's Edict your carry. The sticky bomb damage isn't going to hit. The spear isn't going to hit. So that's good. I like the Oracle pick a lot.
Yep. I do too. It's come back into popularity recently. Have you been seeing it in that many of your pubs?
I think Oracle has been one of the more popular heroes in my pubs, to be honest. They end up going back for the Clinks here, so likely to be Spirit Breaker 3. If they're going to run the Clinks there, it's probably on the 4, so that should be your offlane duo, which does mean you can look at your carry pick here if you really want. Or you can go, I mean, the thing is you see your mid lane and your offlane, but you might be able to protect where the Mars is going if you pick your carry here, is what I would say. If you pick your carry, you can still flex the Mars between mid and off.
Yep. Do you think that's something they'll go for, kind of copying the Beast Coast way of doing things, where, you know, a lot of times they do run the Mars mid lane, but they are able to flex it, or they hard commit with this pick?
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to look at something like a Terrorblade here. There is a decent chunk of magic damage, but they like are kind of committal on the side of Argentina, right? Like Void Spirit, Spirit Breaker, they all go in and fighting into like a TB's meta with the amount of control you have from like Mars and Disruptor. I think you have a pretty good fight. The alternative would be some sort of like hero that farms and play. I don't know, man. You have Clinks hunting you. This is like a hard one. Is like the Clink Spirit Breaker duo is actually really scary, because if you just like farm the jungle, Clinks will just provide vision. Spirit Breaker is going to charge you and you're going to die.
Gonna be going for Pango
instead. Grab the Pango instead.
Yeah, whatever it is their safe lane is going to be is still on the table, but it does give them the opportunity to ban even more stuff out on the side of Argentina. Now, one thing to keep in mind is he's been playing a lot of like Monkey King recently. That's a pretty versatile hero, but that's the first thing that Argentina has banned out against Mini here. So stopping him from playing things that he has been super comfortable with. And I think that's probably what they'll do for his next couple of picks here. He's been playing a little bit of Lifestealer, it looks like, Muerta, Faces Void. I imagine we'll see those gotten rid of here. Actually,
Trying to think
probably
like a
do the
good
Terrorblade
Oracle
you want to get.
combos.
I think you probably want to
Yeah,
get
I
the
mean
Terrorblade.
it's probably worth it. It's not the. It's actually not that bad into Mars. So they might try and force the Terrorblade ban here on Brazil, so they can at least have like Terrorblade Oracle into the safe lane, and play around like reflection spam with like meta.
Yep.
But they get rid of the Faceless Void. Okay, that one's good.
Out of the Faces Void themselves here on Brazil. I'm a little bit surprised about that, given that he's been picking it up. Again, it's a bigger sign that perhaps they plan on picking up the Terrorblade on Brazil side, and they just were getting hit 100-0 inside the Chronosphere by like Oracle and Klink's burst damage on top of Faces Void right clicks, because they don't have any good saves for a Chronosphere at this point, right?
Yeah, not really at all. Like you don't really have like any saving supports here, right? You're running Disruptor Techies. Like these guys play super aggressive. They ban out the Juggernaut. This has been a hero that's been getting a lot more attention, actually, and I think the hero is pretty good. I have some people telling me it's not, but I refuse to believe. I feel like Juggernaut in good games is actually borderline unkillable. Once you have that level 20 talent, you like Omni Slash something, and no matter how much health you had going into it, you come out with max HP. It's a literal full heal. You can heal like 6,000 HP in an Omni Slash nowadays.
6,000.
Yeah. Roughly.
Oh, right. They changed the talent around from being a crit lifesteal to a 50%. Oh, no, it's still a crit lifesteal, 50%.
Yeah. No, you just heal based off Blade Fury, but Blade Fury's crit, heal is bugged because it doesn't heal based on the damage it does. Its heal is based on the number, right? So, like, pre-reduction damage is how much you heal.
There's another interesting glitch in that one. It's not based off of the blade damage crit, it's just based off of crits in general. So if you build yourself like a Chrysalis on Juggernaut, you heal off of those crits as well. Or Daedalus.
Yeah. So I did end up going for the Terrorblade here, which...
Yeah. Which is...
This is what I kind of expected.
Or Mini's been playing, so it's a bit of a deny pick as well.
Yeah. Figured someone would grab this hero. And they grabbed the PL. Man, that's a good PL game. There's absolutely no PL answer.
Yeah, there's no lockdown here. Like, the best thing that they have is, like, the Oracle route, maybe being able to charge through the illusions with Spirit Breaker, but I feel like just those by themselves isn't enough for the Phantom Lancer. So, as soon as this guy starts to get some HP, if he eventually manages to build himself a heart, I think there's just no killing him.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I feel like if you wanted to go with the Terrorblade, you should have banned PL over a Juggernaut, because Juggernaut is not a good TV matchup. So it's a little bit strange that they leave the PL in, especially if they wanted to go with the Terrorblade route. But I think with that pick alone, I would probably give the draft advantage to Brazil just because it is a very free PL game. Like, he's not threatened by anything.
Yeah, I'm incredibly worried about this one as well. I mean, Mars hasn't been super stand out to me lately, but I'm a little bit concerned about like Klink's being able to get in and out of fights, Void Spirit being able to get in and out of fights against the Disruptor, as well as the late game potential of this Phantom Lancer. So, draft advantage, I definitely say the side of Brazil. But I mean, we saw a miracle yesterday in Costa Rica game that we watched, so maybe we'll see another one here.
It's possible. And Shifu on the Void Spirit, definitely someone you'll have to keep an eye on. Like, this guy's actually really good. I think he's relatively unknown. I don't know if he's been playing on any teams recently, but from what I could find, he's pretty good skill-wise. So I'm excited to see how he does in the mid lane here against Suits, because that is not going to be an easy opponent by any means.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, excited to see what this game brings. I'm most interested in, I guess, following along what this Spirit Breaker does, because again, I feel like the Pause 4 Spirit Breaker is going to be the #1 thing that makes or breaks the beginning of these games.
Yeah, I'd agree, man. No, without waiting any longer, I think it is time we go ahead and jump on into our first series. It's going to be Brazil versus Argentina. And, you know, in a best of one, Neff, what's the best strategy that you can come up with? Like, if you're going into a best of one, and, you know, what's
best
the
strategy in a
keep
best
in
of
mind?
one is to make the enemy team not understand Dota anymore. I think I think a team like Argentina actually has a bit of an advantage in a best of one because, again, you have tons of data from Team Brazil to go off of. Them playing underneath the banner of Infamous, obviously, inside the DPC. Again, you just have way too much to work with. So you can counteract the majority of things that you play. You can kind of take them by surprise game one with these odd strategies. So best of one, I think, even though normally I would give Brazil the advantage, element of surprise is on Argentina's side here. So hopefully they run away with that one. But the draft advantage going the way of Brazil, we'll see if surprise factor is enough for them.
All right. Well, here we go. A little fight potentially here at the top rune. That being said, Spearbreaker, super tanky, so they're just not going to bother trying to run at that. Meanwhile, Gork in the bottom. God, it's going to be really funny saying Gork this game. Gork grabbing the bottom rune. Again, for anyone who might be listening on the radio cast version of this, it's not to be confused with the completely unhinged European Gork. This is the totally regular, normal South American Gork.
The good Gork.
Yes.
But he's going to be off to a reasonable start in this game. We're going to start the game looking in up and top because this is going to probably be the high action lane here. We start with 3 heroes up to the top lane, the PL laning with both the Techies and the Disruptor, trying to push them back and get a reasonable amount of harass here. I imagine it won't be long until, Techies already TP'd down to the bottom lane and joined Eco. Meanwhile, here in the mid lane, do the Pangolier versus the Void Spirit matchup. This is probably going to be pretty even back and forth here. Yeah, down to the bottom lane here, of course, we see just Oracle using his extra range to try to harass Hiko out of lane. You have to be a little bit careful about how far forward you go, but I think up until Techies and Mars hit level 2, you can get a reasonable amount of harassment. Once you have to deal with the both God's Rebuke and Spear of Mars, then you're worried about the kill potential from this Techies Mars.
Well, looks like top lane, that's where the first blood's going to come out, is they finally get their level 2, and they play on that timing to bring down the Spirit Breaker. It almost results in a kill onto Mini's PL, and with Spirit Breaker, you can just TP back up. You can play for a charge here pretty quickly into one of these heroes if he really wants, but
Mini was
Spirit Breaker's level 2. Oh, he actually doesn't have 2 yet. Never mind, he doesn't have charge.
Yep. But yeah, Mini was kind of baiting that one. He did still have 6 wand charges to fall back on there, so not as close as meets the eye. Now just being fed tangos here by Nuages.
Ooh, bottom lane, a little bit of a missed timing there potentially from the side of Brazil. A little bit uncharacteristic. One thing to note, Oracle, because of the way this hero plays, a lot of times you can't grab Fate's Edict until 3. Ooh, top lane, another fight as they do manage to bring down Nuages, so that is actually a good one. But you usually have to go Fate's Edict at 3, right? Because you need the Purifying Flame spam plus the Fortune's End to dispel. Otherwise, you're just, not really doing anything in the lane. So it's a little bit rough, but they went for like a combo onto the Terrorblade and just completely missed the spear into Blast Off, which probably we won't be seeing that happen all too much.
Yeah. Very unlikely that happens that many times, but he's been onto the Oracle. They're actually trying to steal this
he gets it.
Lotus here, and he does end up grabbing it. Looks like he's
this is a worthwhile meta. Yeah, absolutely worth popping the meta here to grab the kill.
Nice
it's a little bit frustrating, but yeah, it's a good punish indeed. Top lane, charge. Is it enough damage? Mini does pop the stick, trying to survive, but the damage from Hermit, they're trying to find the real PL, and they won't be able to. So the Doppelganger allows him to get on out.
That one that he popped earlier, or saved earlier from getting committed on at the beginning of the lane, ends up paying off, being used there. Then drops a salve onto him there on Nuagi, so only heals you up half the amount that it normally would on the PL, but he's going to be able to stick inside the lane because of that. But we have some high action lane so far in this game, and I almost saw a glimpse back into a kill up in the top lane, but then just survived that.
I think, is he planning on just basing on this Spear Breaker soon? Because Oh no, it is just, yeah, so it is just going to be 3-position clinks. I don't know what I thought about this earlier, but I was looking at this, I was like, why do I feel like Spirit Breaker's items are the support items? And then sure enough, it is.
We talked about this, Ricky.
My brain just it deleted the info immediately because it was like, it just didn't want to accept it.
You're tuning me out. It's not important. Some
no, it didn't want to believe that someone could do this.
Well, do you have a little bit more, or I guess that even makes things worse for your opinion of this game. You favored Brazil's drafting before you thought this was a possible Spirit Breaker, but they're putting the hurt on Nuages regardless of this. Now that you turn things back
stick
around.
10 stick. Oh, he cancels the charge. Oh, no. Yeah, that's a rough one. Hermit might be dead here as well. He does have 13 stick charges to play around. He's going to try and do what damage he can back to Nuages. And with the burning arrows, it is enough. But Hermit is falling very low here. And Mini will be able to grab himself a double kill on the PL now.
Yeah. 2 kills now for Mini. And we were worried about this Phantom Lance at the beginning of this game. If this guy pops off, has an awesome game. And by God, he is right now. Top of the CS charts, top of the net worth. I am super concerned about this farm going forward. Did that? Oh. Oh! Do you see that? Oh, wait, no. I think I saw that wrong. Oh, no, I saw that right.
Are you talking about the bottle refill?
It stopped the bottle refill because he wasn't able to swap his item out of his inventory fast enough on Nuages. That,
Techies, what a hero, man.
No. I want to go back to that one. The Aether Remnant there. It managed to stop the bottle from being refilled.
I thought I saw it get filled. I don't know.
Invisibility.
Oh, top lane.
Oh, wait, no, it did got refilled. I'm crazy.
Bottom lane, though. Okay, well, a big fight breaking out in the bottom lane. Shifu does jump in there, doing what he can, but here comes the Pango as well, and Gork trying to dodge it out, gets a reflection. He's got no stick charges left to play with, gets 1 CS on his dying breath. As top lane, they managed to take down that Clinks as well. So 2 nice rotations here from Brazil, getting 2 big kills.
Yeah, and charge comes out of the top, but this gets scouted by the Observer Ward placed earlier by the Techie. So DLC is going to try to charge him up in the top. It's going to get scouted by another Observer Ward on his way up here as well. So absolutely no way this connected them. As soon as the SB comes in, he could just throw the Doppelwalk, but not even get the opportunity. Glimpse comes out from the Disruptor. Nice board placements here on the side of Team Brazil.
Absolutely. Also, Techies has managed to already grab the first Wisdom Rune. The Argentinian Wisdom Rune is still sitting there at the moment. A charge will come through. So you try and just jump onto the Disruptor, and he gets the extra bash this time, but he still manages to live. Nuages is just barely tanky enough thanks to that fluff he had, and now a glimpse is going to find the Oracle. He throws a Fate's Edict onto himself to try and dodge out enough of this damage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Mini on this PL does so much work, turning around onto the Disruptor, but there's the blast off. Widge will goes down. Mini gets to his 4th kill of the game, his 2nd double kill, and is just crushing the net worth chart.
Yeah. 4.5K here, not even 8 minutes into the game yet. This man is having an amazing start, and you don't really have an answer to this PL. Like, your best answer is this Void Spirit, who hasn't really had the opportunity to make that many rotations. It does pick up the double damage rune in the mid lane as we see the rotations coming in for those 8-minute power runes, but I'm not sure this DD by itself is going to be enough, or if they'll even allow the Void Spirit to make this rotation onto the PL. You might just try to go for a kill.
3K lead right now is pretty rough. So how do you feel about this PL going for our first item Vanguard?
Super bizarre. I can't say that I'm a fan of it.
They do manage to find Oracle bottom, but this was a missed arena, and he got the Fate's Edict off right when they came in, so he didn't take any damage. So Hiko might be in trouble here as the DD from the Void Spirit will be used to try and chase them down. The roots are there, but in comes that Pango, and with Shifu having no spells left, they get the disarm. That's going to do some work here, but they've got to get more out of this. Another charge here from the Spirit Breaker does find him, and they get themselves a huge kill on Dessous. So Pango thought he could do more, but the damage in from the Terrorblade, way too much for him to deal with. That was a fantastic rotation and a good fight here in response.
Yeah, all that happened up at the top lane. We actually saw Disruptor go down 100-0 to this Clinks. It's not going to stop the Phantom Lancer from farming, but it does make Clinks' game a little better. And so he finds another kill down here.
Dude, that was actually so sick from the Spirit Breaker. He got sticky bombed and knew he was going to get blast off, so he just charged like Mars under the tower, and it bonked the techies as the blast off came in. And so he was just stuck there, stunned up, and just a free kill for the Void Spirit.
Yeah, it's like four kills in a row right now for Team Argentina, and they managed to bring back the net worth lead from what, like 3,000 down to like 1,000. Reference on the side of Brazil. It doesn't answer the Phantom Lancer problem just yet, but it does make this game a little bit easier. Another charge is going to come out early mid lane, but ends up getting canceled immediately. Too close to that tier 1 tower, too many heroes nearby.
Oh, this time the arena does connect. So Hiko, I mean, 2 arenas spent. Both of them dropped onto the Oracle. It's at the end of the day like good for Gork because he doesn't really care all that much. But now Hiko, he's kind of all alone here. He actually canceled the charge. I don't know what that came through, but just a quick bonk there is going to be enough to help get the kill as Shifu will grab himself his 3rd kill of the game. And they're getting some valuable net worth here onto this Void Spirit thanks to these kills.
Yep. This is what Void Spirit does best, just finding lots of kills, doing huge burst damage in the early game. I mean, if you can seal it the late game, it's wonderful as well. Cool. Sell you off the mark with that remnant, but they continue to charge up from the top lane, pick the techies. Unfortunately, with the PL here, and yeah, PL is just way too tanky for them to commit on. And in fact, they try to turn this on the Hermit.
I mean, he manages to get out for the moment. He gets the skeletons out and tries to get this damage onto the techies. He will be able to, especially with the saves here from Widge, but just sniping the kill. Quite funny. The tower will end up falling as Mini now needs to be a little bit careful. There is a lot of damage between these heroes. The Astral Step does come through the taunt from the Void Spirit. They burst him down. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to do it. The charge, oh, barely. It doesn't connect. Whoo!
Got himself out of
that Vanguard will not protect you from the magic damage.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get the Vanguard pickup. The goal was to make himself just like too tanky for them to bother with, but they do have a lot of magical bursts, so they managed to slow down this Phantom Lancer's game quite a bit. And when you go out of your way to commit for a Vanguard instead of getting a diffusal plate and like picking up your farming speed, and you go down anyways, it is going to be a huge boon for Team Argentina.
How can you carry hope?
Ends up getting pushed away from the shield rune, and he's pulled back, but Dissimulate is going to make it so he can dodge that one out. Nice play there by Zifu. As long as he holds on to that spell, then he's not going to be in too much trouble from the Disruptor, but you do have a lot of catch potential on the side of Brazil. And speaking of catch, now commit onto techies, it looks like he's just going to drop here.
Dude, he is starting to really cook now on this Void Spirit, up to 4-0. That being said, Seuss does have a Diffusal and a Shield Rune bottled up, so he should be pretty tanky, unless he just keeps getting bashed, right?
He pops the Shield Rune.
Okay. He can't keep getting these bashes. There's no way. Rolling Thunder's going to come out, and he has to leave. Or does he? I mean, he has a charge. He could just go. Nah, okay. He's too far away. Dude, that's some good stuff, man. This is why the Spirit Breaker hero keeps getting picked.
Yeah, he's managed to make it work despite the not most amazing start to this game. All he's got is Trank Boots, Windlays, and Wand, and he's managed to set up a couple plays for his team. And he's going to turn his eyes towards the bottom lane. I don't think Hiko sees this one coming. But unfortunately, not enough follow-up. And I mean, we haven't talked about the TB's farm. He's actually managed to surpass the Phantom Lancer's CS recently. A lot of this is the jungle, but as we can see, his net worth still 1,300 behind the Phantom Lancer, even though he's ahead in CS. A lot of this is jungle. Meanwhile, the Phantom Lancer's managed to snag himself 4 kills this game that TB doesn't have.
Yeah,
top
and maybe a 5th here as they do grab him, thanks to Nuages. A good old glimpse pull back into that kinetic field is more than enough damage. Widge unable to get there in time with the false promise. And DLC, he's stuck here behind the tower. Does have a Nether Strike, but that's going to be out of mana now. And another kill going to Mini.
This will hasten.
And 2 wisdom runes picked up now on the side of Team Brazil. Shifu managed
Dude,
to
he
find
gets him
himself a kill with
again.
that.
Such a limited imagination.
Every time Shifu like sees this techies, he's able to just kill him.
Yeah, under 0. And not for techies like lack of trying to tank up. I mean, this guy built 2 bracers. He's doing his best to stay alive here.
See, those, he just needs more fluffy hats. That's the answer. They do find the real PL here. He is rooted up into another strike, and the damage from Hermit is actually substantial. They get him. He stuck around way too long. Like, he saw Shifu kind of walk by and just assumed that they didn't have the damage to kill him.
Yeah, so twice now, despite going for this Vanguard build, he's just fallen, and this is going to allow the Phantom Lancer to just like kind of fall off here. The TB starting to catch up and farm. Argentina's looking a lot better as this goes on. I was most concerned about the beginning of this game. They're making it through the early game now, though.
Yeah, they are. They do go ahead and try and jump here. Suits will be forced to get out a nice static storm from Nuages. There's going to be the rolling thunder from Suits. And with the techies coming in as well, the chain stuns are there. The question is, can they actually find the kills? Because Clinks, he's still alive. He's got that, the bonus damage from the Tarbon. He gets the heal off the death pack at the last second. He turns it around. He's going to get both. Oh my gosh, he does have a skeleton walk in 1 second. He's just got to get away from Mini, but he's stuck inside this dust. And Hermit will finally fall, but a very nice fight here for the side of Argentina.
Yeah, evening this one out to see if it was just popping off this game. I mean, I was more so looking out for Wiz and Hermit here, but this mid laner of Argentina's nothing to scoff at, man.
Yeah, I told you, man, I was like, from what I saw, Shifu was pretty solid. I have to find his actual rank, but I've heard he's quite good, so I'm not that surprised.
Yeah.
Plus, he is playing on, you know, one of his absolute best heroes, right? Master tier, Void Spirit, also one of the best heroes of the patch. That's a feels good, you know?
Yeah. Definitely one of the strongest heroes of the patch, being a universal. They do scout out a lot of the heroes on Argentina's side in the mid lane underneath that observer ward that was placed by Nuages earlier. So I think they realized that. They back off. Not going to be able to cross the river onto the enemy team side. There. And now Team Brazil is starting to invade Argentina's side of the map. As we can see, slowly moving into their jungle more and more, and trying to give a little bit more space to this Phantom Lancer who's had his farm interrupted a couple of times now. But the PL still does need a lot more items to be able to really stand his ground in these team fights. He's going for the Mantis Lion now, but he probably needs something to tank up after this, just to be able to get in and out of these fights. The Vanguard right now not quite doing the trick. Not with all the magical bursts.
That's very true. The thing is, the Vanguard, it's a good item, but the reason it's broken right now is because of the disassemble tricks that a lot of offlaners go for, right? To disassemble into either Pipe or into the Octarine. Or, of course, the build-up in the Crimson Guard, which is, you know, what we've seen Hiko go for. So it feels a little bit underwhelming on a carry, such as the Phantom Lancer, but we'll see here, top lane Suits priming that Rolling Thunder. The dust does come out as they find Hermit. He realizes he can't really go anywhere as there is a glimpse available, but he actually gets caught on this bash from the Spirit Breaker, so that will allow him to get out for the moment. So a nice, you know, kind of saving Private Ryan, you know, get down Mr. President, you know, manages to get Hermit out of danger.
See if he stands his ground up the high ground. He waits for Hiko to walk up here.
Yeah, but on the backside, it's Clinks completely soloing Nuages. He gets the kill. He doesn't get trapped into the arena. He does have the dust, though. The question is, can the rest of the team get there to try and save him? The Oracle needs to close the gap, but he can't do it.
Yeah, a dangerous play to try to go forward on that one anyway, so they decide just to back up instead. Not really worth it putting that much effort in trying to save the positive Clinks. They take a one-for-one trade, and now they turn their eyes over towards Hiko in the mid lane.
Yeah, uses the Crimson Guard, but still taking a decent chunk of damage, and they got him.
Nice pick off. That'll turn into this mid-tier 1 tower here. They've already committed the Metamorphosis for this one. I don't think they'll continue forward after this. We'll definitely take it the mid-tier
Also
one.
going-
This has been up for just too long.
I'm kind of just realizing, like, going for Crimson Guard against an Oracle feels kind of rough since you can't just immediately Fortune's end it off. And we'll just go for a dive here, bring down the Disruptor. Plenty of damage coming through from the Void Spirit as he grabs himself another set of charges for his Desolator. And this game is dead even now, man. It is 19-15 here as we approach that 20-minute mark. Almost no gold or XP advantage.
Yeah,
It's like barely favoring Brazil.
I was saying this at the beginning of the game, you know, ranks, we are familiar with a lot more of the Team Brazil's players, but Argentina, they've got some solid players from their region as well. They obviously brought the best today, and be able to play against such a large, a country that has such a larger player base inside Dota is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
going
absolutely.
tit for tat against them right now.
I'm curious to see what this Clinks is going to do. Is he's got the Orchid queued up as his next item. We've seen a lot of people opt for Nullifier, like, immediately on Clinks once you get, like, the Solar Crest and stuff. The Blink reveal here from Hiko does allow them to find the Oracle. And he'll be the one that actually secures the kill there. So a nice grab from him.
Yeah. Doesn't have the opportunity to pop his face into his mech. He might have been able to stay alive a little bit longer, even survive that one. If he could survive the initial burst damage, but I think at this point he realized that he needs a little bit more HP.
DLC's diving the base to try and kill the Pango. He just needs one bash. Will he get it? No, he's got the Pavis. He gets disarmed. You know, he tried. You gotta respect the Spirit Breakers that don't cancel the charge. Unless they're on your team and they're just feeding, then maybe you don't respect them. But you respect other people that do it.
The man's got no fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile, down the bottom lane, we see Weird get his revenge off on the techies that manages to pick him off. And probably wants to move into his jungle, play some sentries, retake control of this one. Although he's all out at the moment.
Dude, I will say, Hermit is so scary right now on this Clinks. He nearly soloed the Pango. And
do you like this phylactery build?
Any other hero that comes near him? What is it?
The phylactery first item.
Yeah, it's good. It gives you the mana regen you need. Combine that with the Solar Crest even more so. He's level 13, so he's got his extra Skelly. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it works very well with Tar Bomb. Just being able to spam this one out. Great initial slow onto them, and you can follow it up with a ton of right clicks afterwards.
Yeah, you kind of stagger Tar Bomb since it has a duration of 5 seconds anyway, plus the linger on a hero. So you kind of just use it when Phylactery is up rather than trying to just like spam Tar Bomb, because then you're basically going to miss, 2 seconds of uptime on Phylactery, if that makes sense, right? Or more.
Yep.
All right, we are going to see a nice smoke here from both teams. They are set up on the high ground. The scan does connect. DLC goes in for the charge. Doesn't quite find his target, but he dies in the process as he just kind of gives some vision to his team. Zeus comes in. Great rolling thunder. They find the Oracle. Double buyback's going to come through as Shifu. He's got an Arcane Rune, trying to do what damage he can, and in comes Gork on the Terror Blade. Hiko on the backside, taking a ton of damage here from Hermit, but he's protected by the Crimson Guard for the moment. They're going to potentially lose the Mars. The question is, can they grab more? And they can't. Shifu just jumped right past him onto the backside, disarmed for the moment by the Pango. But he's going to keep the chase going. Still with that Arcane Rune, the charge comes through from DLC. They manage to find him. He's gone. Nether Strike finds the Phantom Lancer. A nice false promise there to save that Void Spirit. And PL, he's got to run. The Remnants caught him. A nice Spirit into the charge. The Bash is continuing to come through. Mini, he's got to run. He's trying. Phylactery finds him. They've got the right target, and he's going to die as well. Argentina get a massive win. They buy back both supports, and it pays off dividends.
Yeah, huge team fight there. I mean, it looked so amazing at the beginning of that one in Brazil. He managed to catch, 2-3 heroes inside that Rolling Thunder back and forth, but not enough damage to follow that one up or burst anyone down. Oracle doing an amazing job at keeping the Void Spirit alive at the tail end of that team fight as well. I mean, look how much damage this Void Spirit was able to do because of it. 11,000 damage coming out from Radiant side. Ended up doing 5,500 damage himself here on Sifu. Look at that net worth swing after that last team fight. And win probability, net worth now on the side of Argentina for the first time this game.
For the first time, indeed. And a lot of it really is like the chase potential that Argentina has, right? Like normally when you're playing the Disruptor, you want to be the one that's the aggressor that's chasing the enemy team. But when you've got a Spirit Breaker, you've got a Void Spirit, you've got this Clinks, it is a hard team to get away from.
Yeah. You have all these extra tools that you have to deal with now. I mean, now if Pango jumps in, all of a sudden, if he doesn't get his Rolling Thunder off immediately, Clinksy just hit him with this Orchid. He's got the Desolator done on Void, but it's got 14 charge right now. He's almost got the Daedalus as well. Once this one's completed, he's going to be able to 100-0 almost anyone other than the Phantom Lancer, who does have his heart completed now. But
looks like they are going to go for the Tormentor here on the side of Brazil. I'm a little bit surprised he went for the 4th point in Death Pact. I feel like the 3rd point is really all you need. You get the level 6 creep and the 2 charges, but he decides to go for the 4th point as opposed to maxing out Strafe next. So a little bit of a weird, it might have been a miss-skill, but either way, he's having a great time here on the Clinks. It looks like he wants to go Roche. I mean, with Terrorblade's meta, they can easily do this.
Yep. Now's not really the time you would want to take a team fight against Brazil. You're like halfway done. I have Scotty on the Terrorblade, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to contest this one. They've got decent vision outside Roshan. And Spearbreaker is, in fact, just charging straight into the enemy team to be able to provide information and maybe stall them out a little bit. Okay. Defensive Nether Strike there to be able to get away from the enemies?
That was kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, that's all he was doing is trying to get vision and see where Brazil is. That offensive charge slows down Pango. He has no way of getting to the pit. The rest of the team was, not prepared for that, so you don't get like the glimpse back. But yeah, that was really, really, really sick, and it does allow them that time to finish off the Roshan, and it's going to be picked up on Gork's Terrorblade, who has his BKB on his way to his Scotty. I like that decision, dude. This Spirit Breaker is actually owning.
Yep. Speaking of, items being picked up, Sifu does have the BKB coming out to him rather than finishing the Chrysalis that I thought he would do a moment ago. It's possible they do want to take this fight because of that. The moment after they pick up this BKB on the Void Spirit, they might just decide to run at Team Brazil. It's really interesting how the Spirit Breaker has been playing. He's been going so far ahead of the rest of his team, like constantly. He's just dying at the beginning of the fights, but he's providing so much information. Like, okay, can we take this or not? If we just lose the SB, it's not that big of a deal, which allows them, of course, take Roshan. And now, because of the information he's provided, even though he wasted his charge, he wasted his ult, he's able to come back in afterwards with the Aegis, with the BKB that his Void Spirit is picking up, and I think they'll take this fight. If Brazil knows what's good for them, they'll back up here.
Oh, they actually give the Aegis to Shifu. Clinks is searching, man, and without a sentry, if they don't fight, okay, he will walk under it now. And nice, that was actually a really good ping from the Spear Breaker. He's like, yo, they have a ward there, like they saw me coming, careful, and they back off, so good restraint. I will point out as well, though, Spear Breaker and Oracle are on their buybacks, so either of their deaths are going to mean they have, a very long time before they're going to be able to get back into the next fight, so.
Yeah. Other side of the map, Clinks is hunting suits here on the Pangolier. He doesn't have a stun for him, so he's just gonna be able to... Yeah, he's giving him the runaround. He's got the shield rune on.
He's got another ward sentry up on the high ground, so...
Yeah, he knows that he's here now. Techie's wards is gonna scout Hermit, who's going to keep going regardless. He tries to get the silence off, and it comes after the roll.
And that glimpse sends the Spirit Breaker back the other way.
And now they continue to back off.
I mean, overall, it's Argentina that's the aggressor now, right? Like, they have full control, it feels like.
Yeah, they've got 2 BKBs with 9 seconds available. Yeah. 2 BKBs with 9 seconds, both on the Terrorblade and the Void Spirit, so they're going to press their advantage. The Aegis on top of this. This just allows the Void Spirit to dive so far into the enemy team. With this 3K net worth advantage.
I'm surprised Hermit's not dropping his skeletons closer to the towers because these things absolutely decimate towers. They are going to go for a dive here. A nice Static Storm gets dropped right on top of the Spirit Breaker. Will be safe from the False Promise. Okay, so he's actually pretty tanky. He should be able to survive this. Fortification coming out as well. And DLC, will he live? He gets glimpsed back, but it goes right back into the arena. And they will finally bring him down. So a lot of commitments there just for this Spirit Breaker, but we saw in the last fight just how important this hero was. Shifu wants to go in.
Still have the BKBs.
He's found him. They just burst down the techies. He's got an Astral Step down, and he will make it. Very nice plays from him. Ward up onto the high ground. Nuage is trying to deal with it, but Shifu just goes in. He's got to burst down this Disruptor. He almost manages to do it. He's got another Astral Step in too, and he might just play the aggressive game. They just take down the Pango. The damage from Hermit, are you kidding me? This core Clinks from the low ground is just raining fire on these heroes.
And they can't do a damn thing about it. I have Scotty's now completed on the Terrorblade, and again, with this high ground push, they've held on to the BKBs on both the Terrorblade and the Void Spirit this entire time. They can choose to dive them whenever they want.
They do have the problem with the PL.
Yeah, they're stalling this with the Crimson Guard for now, but it's now expired.
But here comes Clinks again.
Fortification to work with.
Yeah, they will pop the fort. They do not want to give this one up, and honestly, it might have fallen to the archers, but they will back away for now. 29 minutes means there are Wisdom Runes up for both teams. And we're going to see the Terrorblade head to the top side of the map. And this should show Brazil that they are free to kind of do what they want. Hermit tried to steal the other Wisdom Rune. Swashbuckle is going to come through from Zeus, but Hermit gets it at the last second. That's a huge XP steal. 2,200 experience taken away from the side of Team Brazil.
It was, yeah, Team Brazil grabbing a lot of these Wisdom Runes at the beginning of the game. Now the shoes on the other foot, and XP, net worth, win probability, all swinging the way of Team Argentina. Looking damn good right now. And let's not forget, this is a best of one, Ricky.
I was just thinking, I was like, wait, dude, this is a best of one. Like, this is the game. If you're Argentina and you win this one, you're looking very good in terms of coming out ahead of this group, because this is easily one of the strongest teams here.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it to be on the back of an offlane Clinks, but this hero is looking pretty dang strong. Shifu follows up another DD rune, has the Daedalus completed, and a Vindicator's Axe in his backpack.
30 damage with the hero silenced, 20 armor with the hero stunned. I mean, it's going to make it a lot harder for them. He can just fight underneath the Static Storm at this point and just have tons of bonus damage. The Vindicator's Act with his double damage rune.
Yep. So, with mid lane, the melee barrack still standing. It looks like they're going to opt to push bottom here. And Mini did finish up his Aghanim Scepter, so this is a pretty substantial buff in terms of the damage output from this PL. It's also really annoying since, like we talked about, there's not a real good answer for the PL this game. And if his illusions are able to just, you know, continue to be strong in these engagements and he's able to build up that illusion army in the fight, he might be able to overwhelm the side of Argentina. So we'll see what they can do.
Feels like given the state of things, they do still have the burst damage to be able to clear out the illusions, though. I mean, this Void Spirit running through them with the Astral Step will do a lot.
Oh, the Nether Strike into the silence. They catch the Disruptor, but he's alive for the moment. The Spirit Breaker is in trouble, but a nice Astral Step from Shifu will finish him off. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. Gork here on the Terrorblade in the mid lane. Does have his BKB to play with him. Mars, he walks into the Remnant, gets sundered instead, losing a lot of HP, forced to drop the arena, try and bring down Hermit, but the save! The Oracle is there, gets him with the false promise, but he keeps getting punished by this Phantom Lancer, and Hermit should die here. The catches into silence back the other way. Can they finish? Wait, Hermit lives! There's actually just too much healing coming through from this Oracle, but Suits is still full HP. He started to take a beating, though, and there it is. The big crit from the Void Spirit on that Astral Step on over. And it is really just Mini versus the world. 4 heroes still alive for the side of Argentina. And a good, you know, good amount of damage that you can do to this tower. They jump in, they get the Disruptor again. He bursts him down. The Silence catches the PL. If they can kill him here, this is what they need, and they got him. No way. Argentina looking to close out this game just this quick. Some big catches here and there, and the Orchid from Hermit is enough. That's it. GG comes out, and Argentina take the series.
And what I would definitely call an upset, I mean, we looked at this draft, we weren't sure how they were going to do with the Phantom Lance at the beginning of the game. Brazil just coming out on top, but Argentina, they managed to stall it out. They hold. My God, they look good this game. The Clinks, the Void Spirit, Shifu definitely carried this game on his back. Super well played by Argentina. My God.
Yeah,
I am
that
impressed.
was
I went into today thinking that Brazil would just dominate, but Argentina win this best of one against Brazil.
looks like you gotta respect this Void Spirit player, man. Shifu ending the game 15-0-11. Absolutely deathless in this bloodbath of a game. And just putting so much damage out in so many big picks. Like, his go here at the end just sees Disruptor, instantly goes on him, bursts him down. Seemingly just trusting Widge to try and keep him alive in these engagements and just trusting that the Spirit Breaker is going to go in with him. Like, they just made it work. And yeah, it was just such a sick play. I didn't really expect to see a 3-position Clinks today, but they made it look good. They made it look real good.
Yeah, I mean, you were surprised we saw the Spirit Breaker switch over to position 4. And yeah, I mean, he ended this game 1-10, but he took all these deaths, just like charging straight at the enemy team, getting this information for his side, and kind of the sacrificial lamb, letting his team like build up and get, figure out where everybody stands in these fights. He did his job on this Pause 4 Spirit Breaker. I wasn't sold on it at the beginning of the game, but it looked damn good by the end of it. And Phylactery build on Klings, this just happens to like synergize so well with the Tar Bomb. I was super impressed with this one. But Sifu definitely the person to look out for here. I mean, again, 15-0, flawless performance on this Void Spirit. Definitely kept them in it. 35,000 hero damage.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from this past game. And one of the ones I want to point out, if we get to see it here, is something you were talking about where the Spirit Breaker just is charging in, kind of just putting himself in harm's way. The perfect example of this was the fight near the Radiant, like, Tormentor area, where he just charges up onto the high ground, knowing they're there without vision. He's like, I'm going to die, but I'll buy back. It'll be fine. I'll buy back into the game, but I'm going to die, and we're going to get vision. We're going to try and force some cooldowns, and we're going to take another fight. And that was really the turning point in this game. Like, they went from a pretty substantial advantage on Brazil to just Argentina controlling almost the entire map. And, Brazil had a really good start. They managed to find some nice picks. This top lane Phantom Lancer had a really good game, but it was not enough. Like, the early game did not sustain them, and we thought maybe they would get them to the late game PL where he's like borderline untouchable, but they didn't manage to just find the real PL.
That was the first death of the PL. They managed to just barely escape there on the Oracle, but yeah, that one they took with the Vanguard was rough, but nice clean game there by Argentina. Again, I think Shaki, a lot of the people watching here today, we were playing against a lineup that plays together in the DPC. Like Infamous, you'd be expecting them to just have the kind of synergy on their side to be able to easily pull off the victory, but Argentina says no. Argentina says no.
I was talking with some people yesterday just about like the depth of the player pool in SA is just like so incredibly good, just because there are a lot of really good like Division 2 teams that can compete like pretty well. Like, on a good day, they can take games away from some of the good Division 1 teams as well. The only real exceptions are teams like, EG and Beast Coast that just pretty much never make mistakes. But then you have, a team like this, like Infamous, a Division 1 team. They're pretty solid, and they dropped their series to Argentina here with, some other players from the DPC, maybe some unknown players as well. Now, Shifu, he's one of these people that maybe surprising a lot of people today.
Yeah, definitely surprised me. Wasn't the player that I looked out for, but definitely going to be something I'm paying attention to as I continue to watch more Dota games that he's in. As super impressed by him. But
Yeah.
Ricky, who do you think the MVP of this game was?
I feel like it has to be Shifu, but let's go and take a look, see who the MVP of our first series is. What do you know?
It has to be Wish.
If you could choose
it
someone,
has to be Wish.
Okay.
The Oracle saving play after play. Come on, give some love to support players, man.
All right. Let's see. It is going to be Shifu. All right.
Damn. I guess that's
Thank
Ricky
you, Neff.
1, Neff 0.
Yeah. Ricky rules, Neff rules, as always. This guy just played out of his mind in this series. Like, he did really, really, really well. He started most of the engagements despite having the Spirit Breaker on his team. Like, he was finding so many of these support pickoffs, like grabbing the Disruptor at the beginning of multiple fights was kind of a key point for me.
Yeah, I mean, he did like 35,000 hero dab, and it was almost twice as much as like anyone on the enemy team. It was twice as much as the enemy mid laner, like 17.5 on the Pango. So, man, absolutely popped off this game. Makes sense. Master tier Earth Void Spirit player, but without him, they definitely would not have won this game.
Right on. Yeah, this was a fun one. This was not really the expected result. I think some people might have had coming into this, like looking at Brazil. Ooh, it looks like we do actually have some more replays from this game. I think they were.
I mean, we only had 9
cut a
minutes
little bit
before.
short.
We're gonna obviously have way more replays to look for.
Yes,
Come
of
on.
course. Okay, so here we go. So this is where things get really sick. Like the Void Spirit, we're gonna see. He's gonna look for the Disruptor immediately, and as soon as he sees him, he's just like, "Boom, I'm going." Like he every single time just jumping this hero. It's really really good
Yeah.
stuff from him.
And again, the restraint from Team Argentina here, they hold their BKBs this entire time. So the Disruptor, like, he feels relatively useless. Like, they're just going to be able to walk out of Marzuin and walk out of Static Storms, no problem. They realized they didn't have to commit the BKBs, and the biggest threat was just continuing to hold them. And then, of course, at the end here, when Mars still has his arena available, you can freely walk in and out of this thing. You pop your BKBs then, and I mean, they couldn't even finish off his Clinks here. This is like one of Wiz's highlights, in my opinion. Managing to keep
Dude, 13
his
HP
Clinks
false
alive.
promise.
Yeah. Man's got quick fingers here on Wiz. He's
Yeah,
getting
that
older. I
was
believe
sick.
he's like 29 years old. He's a year older than I am, but still got those zoomer reflexes on the Oracle to save his teammates.
Yeah, some
course.
people still maintain, being good at the game in their old age. Neff, I know that's not something you are familiar with, but Widge, he's a little bit more experienced.
I see. Some of us were at least good at the game at one point. Unlike others here on the broadcast.
Hey, it's all right. I've just been improving year over year. I am, all-time high MMR now, dude. We're
Right, you're
almost
aging
there.
like wine.
Aging like a fine wine. 6,900 MMR now. Can you believe it?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice number.
It is. I'm never gonna play ranked again.
Mm-hmm.
But we got another series coming up in a moment. I know a lot of people are going to be looking forward to this match, and it is one of the big ones. It is going to be Brazil taking on Peru, and I'm going to double check how long of a break we have before we go into this, so I can find out. Okay, so it looks like 30-ish minutes, right? Is that what it was?
3
or 30?
3
Did I get
minutes?
3 or 40?
3 minutes.
Oh, okay, only 3 minutes. Okay, good. So we're gonna we're just going to a real short break. We're not gonna go. All right, that makes sense. Okay, so we'll be back with our second series, which is going to be Peru versus Brazil. It's just gonna be a few minutes away. Everyone, stay tuned. We'll see you after the break. Hey everybody, and welcome back here to the IESF World Championships. It is the Southern Cone Qualifiers. My name is Cryptic. I am here with Neff, and we've got a 6 series lined up here for our second one of the day. But before we jump into that, Neff, how you feeling, man? It was a nice little break. You all nice and refreshed?
Absolutely. Managed to scarf down some food during the half an hour break. I know we said 3 minutes, but we ended up being a little bit dishonest. We've got Steam maintenance going on right now, so it caused it to delay the games a little bit. But hopefully we'll be ready to go before long. But like you mentioned, it is an exciting match. We got some bits and pieces of Team Hikori, which are going to represent Team Peru, up against Team Brazil that we already watched a match of, and unfortunately coming off the back of a loss.
Yeah, definitely coming off the back of a loss, which is not fantastic for them, obviously. It's actually the entirety of Team Hikori minus Michael, their 4th position, since Michael is actually from Bolivia. And they will be having who is it?
El Misho.
El Misho. Oh my god. Okay, well, fantastic. We both love El Misho. This guy's great. So he's going to be standing in for them on the 4, and I would guess they're going to go ahead and just move to the 5. But let's go ahead and take a look at Brazil's roster here once again, as we did just see these guys play. And these guys have quite the team. So it is mostly Team Infamous, minus 40R in the mid lane, being replaced by Seuss. So Mini on the 1, Seuss in the mid lane, Hiko on the off lane, GRP the 4 position, and Nuages on the 5. And these guys all have some signature heroes. It's a little bit unfortunate for Nuages because I think his 2 most played heroes are just not in the meta at all. So it's a little bit of a rough stretch here for, I think, Infamous as well as just him in general as a result of that. But Neff, coming off the loss here from this last series, what do they got to do? What's the mentality going to be like?
I think you're a little bit sad that you lost a best of 1 against Team Argentina. Usually you play these series, the best of 3. You get back up after 1 game loss. You're kind of able to recover, but with half an hour to reset, I think they'll probably be fine. Yeah, with half an hour to recover,
they got a little bit of a break, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm. So they've time to talk about what exactly went wrong instead of just quietly seething there over what happened in the previous match. Honestly would chalk it up to some good play from Team Argentina, amazing spear breaker play, even though I do think they had a better draft. Maybe they'll move away from things like the Mars thing offline, like you mentioned, not as popular of a hero right now. I think Hiko will probably move to something that is a little bit more in the meta.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I mean, overall, I still think they played a pretty dang good game. But Argentina just managed to pull it together on off the back of that Void Spirit and just some really good team execution. But one team that we can take a look at as well will be Team Peru. So let's see what these guys are cooking up here themselves. And like we said, this is mostly going to be Team Hikori. So Gardic, Lumir, Vitali, and Alone, but they will have El Misho standing in for them. A very, very popular support player. He used to play on Hikori way back in the day when it had Yuma, Mr. Jeans, Thelacor, and stuff like that. So he's been here before. He's played with a lot of these players. He's familiar with the org. He's familiar with a lot of these guys. And so I'm excited. We'll see how El Misho is going to do.
Yeah, so El Misho, the position 4 for the team. But plays very flashy heroes in position 4. His Rubik, his Tusk has been absolutely insane. Looking forward to watching some of the other players on this team as well. Lumiere, one of my favorite Pause 1 players inside the DP, when we were casting BTS. It's always a treat to watch him pop off on some of these carries. So excited that I get to watch him again here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the coolest things. Just see how he does. I think overall he is a super good player as well.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Alone, of course, the mid laner of Team Peru. He's kind of bounced around to a bunch of different teams. On Wildcard as stand-in when he was playing at the Last Chance qualifiers. Then he ended up playing on Wildcard again. Unfortunately, they didn't do so hot. That was season 2 of the DPC, where you end up playing with Yawar and MSS, who were veterans on Quincy crew, but end up losing without winning a single series there in Div 1 NA DPC. But maybe playing with some people back from his country in Peru, he'll stand out a little bit better. We got a lot of people that play with these flashy heroes. Amisha with flashy fours, Alone flashy mid laners, and Lemire flashy pause one. So hopefully it can all still mesh together fairly well.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, overall, the fourth pool right now is a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool heroes that you can play right now in the fourth position. I think notably has been the Clinks. Last game we saw it as a core, which kind of just threw me for a loop. It was like 6 minutes into the game, and I'm like, man, why does this Clink seem to be taking all of the CS from this Spirit Breaker? This is so weird. Like, my brain just refused to accept the fact that they would be a Clinks 3, but yeah, it was good stuff. Like, I really like what they put together. Now, depending on what they do here, we'll have to see. I think for the most part, Hokori is a pretty reliable team. And in terms of the SADPC, I'm gonna see if I can pull the actual like tour stats at the moment, but I'm pretty sure Hokori has a pretty solid run so far. Yeah, Hokori is in third place. Their only losses are to both EG and Beast Coast, but they have 2-0'd every other team they've played. So
yeah,
clearly off to a pretty good start. Like, they've looked really good. Infamous definitely struggling a little bit, but you know, also dropping this last series to Argentina might have shaken them a little bit. But like I said, I feel like some of this is the heroes right now. Like, I have to feel like this is some of the heroes just not being meta for them. I don't know.
So you'd say just unfortunately this meta not favoring the side of Hokori? And,
no, not favoring Brazil. Hokori's looking good, man.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So a little bit unfortunate for them. Hopefully they can bounce back. They, take this half an hour break to decide, all right, this is what we're going to play instead. Yes, it doesn't matter if you're that familiar with this. I feel like we're going to be more confident on these heroes inside this patch. And you probably want to ban out certain heroes that just absolutely destroyed you in the last game. Void Spirit, you think Shifu is going to be living rent-free in their minds after that last game? Because I imagine we see a first phase ban Void Spirit.
Void Spirit is, I think, just still the undisputed best mid laner in Dota right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone agrees. I was talking to Blitz about this, and he was saying that against a lot of teams, they won't first phase ban it, but if they don't have the ability to pick it in phase 2, they ban it 100% of the time in phase 2. So they just do not allow Void Spirit through the draft. But right now, with the way the offlane pool is, it's very limited because there's only certain heroes that actually work well building these types of auras, right? Building these Crimson Guards, building Guardian Greaves and Pipe and stuff like that. So it feels like your offlane pool is a little bit more narrow. So you kind of prioritize picking like a really strong like 3-4 combo, and then if you can fit the Void Spirit in early, that you go for it. Otherwise, it just gets banned.
Yep. Unfortunately, Alone isn't that renowned of a Void Spirit player. It's like pretty far down on his list. He only got a 44% win rate on it in pubs, unfortunately. Man has been continuing to play a lot of SF. Yeah, he's been playing a lot of Magnus. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he tries to go for again. These flashy plays, trying to carry from the mid lane is what he might go for, rather than being able to just pop off, make plays for the team, and like go for these kills on Void Spirit. But we'll see.
I was going to make a joke about being like, oh, well, I'm amazing at Void Spirit and my win rate's not good at it, and to try and be like, see, it clearly doesn't matter. But then I looked at my win rate and it's actually like 60%. So never mind. I can't make that joke anymore. I actually just went on it. Oh, DOTA2 coordinator. It seems to be back. It took its time. We were down for like 30 minutes here, but looks like we finally might be back in, which means we might be getting a Dota game here fairly soon. But,
yeah, I'm excited. Down for quite a while there, but it has come back up. So looks like both teams are just about ready to get this show on the road here. This one should be interesting. This was the highlight of today for you. You thought that Team Brazil versus Team Peru would be the most competitive match that we were going to watch. I'd say the Argentina versus Brazil was up there as well. We'll see if this one is able to match it. I had a lot of fun watching the last game. It's a damn shame these are only best of ones.
And this matters a lot actually, because Peru won their first game. So if Peru starts off 2-0, Brazil, I think, would just be out, right? So normally you could potentially have forced like a tiebreaker if they both gotten the win in the last series. And then if like Brazil gets like upset by like Argentina or I'm sorry, if Peru gets upset by Argentina. But it looks like right now there's going to be kind of like a potential tug of war between Peru and Argentina for that first or second place spot if Peru happens to get the win here. But there's still, potentially tiebreakers coming. We'll have to see. With a 4-hero or the 4-team round robin, there's always that kind of risk. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I do believe that up against Chile, I'm not sure if we talked about it, but Peru actually did win that matchup there. So they're coming off the back of a win. Brazil coming off the back of a loss. Do you think this is going to affect their mental at all?
I feel like this team, because they are so experienced, is probably okay. I mean, some teams take losses worse than others. I know you have experience working with different teams and seeing it firsthand.
Oh,
like
you were going to say that. I know
players.
you've experienced losses, and I was going to say, nope, no idea what you're talking about.
I could have absolutely torched your ass, but I didn't. So just remember that. Yeah, you have teams that are like okay at taking losses and can bounce back. I think with the amount of experience that this team Brazil has, it's probably not the end of the world for them. They should be able to reset and just kind of use this as a precursor to their DPC match that they're going to be playing against this exact squad later this season. So this is big match here, and see if it carries into the DPC later this week. But I want to focus on this Peru versus Chile match because I was trying to see like what happened, why this ended up going so well. And surprise, surprise, Neff, it was alone in the mid lane on the Void Spirit who absolutely destroyed the side of Chile. Excuse me?
That was Lumiere on the Void Spirit.
Wait, Lumiere took it? Oh my god, it was Lumiere's safe lane Void Spirit. Oh my gosh. They went to mid lane Invoker.
Yep. Lumiere just absolutely popped off. I mean, again, this is why he's a fan favorite of mine, or caster favorite of mine, not fan favorite. Yeah, caster favorite of mine.
You could still be a fan and a caster, dude.
That's true. I am a fan and a caster.
All right. Well, I think it is time. We are going to go right on into this draft phase, the picks and bans here of Team Brazil versus Peru, as they are messing. They are not messing around, dude. They just speed ran the whole first phase, like all 8, like four bans.
Whoa, let's not jump too hard ahead of
30 seconds.
They need time to keep up with us. Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Getting ahead of yourself here, Ricky. So yeah, let's jump right to the pick and ban. We can talk about this speed run that has happened. Almost no reserve time. Maybe these teams would had like a third-party drafting thing open and went, okay, I'm bored of waiting. Let's just get through this now while we have to wait for the servers to come back online. We'll decide what we pick and ban here, and then we can get the game underway. That's what it almost feels like. But again, Spirit Breaker Batrider picked up right away on the side of Team Peru, and Brazil, they take Mirana and Ember Spirit. We actually do see Void Spirit continue to make it through the draft. That is something that Team Peru could pick up on their end, as again, they just came off the back of a huge win with the Void Spirit, and Brazil just played a huge loss against it. So surprised it's not banned yet.
Yeah, they could take it to the safe lane for sure, especially after they did that last game with Lumiere. I think this is your mid lane Batrider. It's a little bit of a deny onto the Void Spirit, because if Brazil's only comfortable running it in mid lane, Batrider is a pretty rough hero to play against. And so they pick an Ember Spirit who is a little bit better at dealing with this hero in mid. It's still not a super favorable matchup, but I guess they, feel confident in doing so. Ember Spirit also decent enough at avoiding the Spirit Breaker ganks, because you can get an early point in chains and like cut out, the charge. And now you have Searing Chains for the arrow setup from Mirana as well. So it is kind of checking a lot of different boxes here, and I think that might be the idea behind the Ember Spirit. But we'll see if they end up moving this Batrider mid, or if this is going to be an off lane.
Yeah. I imagine the Ember Spirit Mirana combination is going to be able to find a bunch of kills. We'll see what they follow up with this one. They banned out the Pugna, which is, again, they've been out in the previous series as well, so maybe something that they're just not comfortable playing against, that they've all of a sudden decided. And of course, they get rid of the Monkey King as well. I guess just afraid of both El Micho and Lumiere picking that one up. So they don't want to deal with the flexibility of that.
I'm trying to think where they want to go on these like next set of picks for Brazil, because I feel like you would want another hero that you could play with the Mirana. There are a lot of offlaners still available. The big one would have been the Beastmaster that is banned. Like the Roar into Arrow is honestly such a good combo, but it's not available. They went for Mars last game, so they could maybe look for Mars again. It didn't have the greatest time though, so I'm wondering if maybe they'll go a different route. With the Bloodseeker ban, it looks like they're going to try and maybe go for either a Pango or a Timbersaw.
So you figure they'll run the Pango into the off lane? I mean, we don't see that as often these days. The Timbersaw is still picked up quite a bit. Bloodseeker would kind of run through him fairly fast, but I feel Batrider's not too bad against the Timbersaw either. Lasso does tend to bring him down, as well as like the huge amount of magic damage you can get kind of like stacking up those sticky napalm charges. So I'm not so convinced about a Timbersaw here. I don't really think that's something that Hiko prefers playing anyways.
I feel like the damage from Batrider is different now than it used to be for the Timbersaw, because like you would just build like 3, 4, 5 sticky napalms like pretty quickly, and then like a single lasso would just burst them down. Now with like how much they nerfed the sticky napalm damage, like your damage on Batrider is a lot more kind of pushed towards the median, if that makes sense. Like you don't have like these extremes of like really low to almost no damage at 1 or 2 points of sticky napalm, and then I mean you still do a lot of damage at like 6 or 7, but they definitely like kind of narrowed in his damage scaling, right? So it's still decent enough into the Timbersaw, but I feel like we've been seeing Timbersaw get such early starts and have such a like dominant lane phase that you're just getting to like a core, you're getting like this Octarine at like 9 minutes, and then you can just go into a Lotus or something.
My friends were talking about this this morning, that everyone is all of a sudden picking a bad. Did somebody take it in the DPC yesterday or something, or somebody play it on stream? Because I
have no idea. I feel like this hero
not
is
being picked at
terrible.
all to all of a sudden being picked up a lot. And he's great against Mirana.
Yeah. I guess it's good against the Mirana Arrow. I don't know. I can't think of any other reason for that. Like, yes, you have the Oracle that's already banned, so maybe you just want the Dispel from the Abaddon. But that is it. Like, there's no other reason that I could see that you would go for this hero. Like, this hero feels super dead. At least it's not a core. Like, you can only really play this as a support now.
I don't think that's true. It's a universal hero. It has huge amounts of scaling damage. You can build any items on it and still feel pretty strong. Like if you really wanted to, you could play this as a core. I imagine against the Mirana, it's going to be sitting pretty far back, though, just spamming a Photic Shield to get that stun off of people, though.
Yeah, it just doesn't do as like enough damage as compared to what it used to. Like, he has the lowest stat gain of any hero in Dota right now, and as a universal hero, it shows like in terms of the damage per level. But it also means he's a lot squishier than he used to be. Like, he got his strength gain nerfed by like 0.6, I think, and then his int gain got nerfed by like 1.2. So he lost like 2. I think his total stat loss was like over 2 a level over the last 2 patches. So he's just like having a rough time here now. They get the Wind Ranger on Team Brazil, which is a hero that, you know, one of the better scaling universal heroes, but a hero for some reason we haven't been seeing all that much in this tournament.
I've been seeing a lot of Wind Ranger outside of this. Again, the burst damage 100-0 is absolutely insane. The talents on Wind Ranger feel really good. It is so annoying to try to take down this hero, and you can build, again, almost anything on it and still have your damage scale. Fill up with the Nix's House now. Amazing against both Batrider and Spirit Breaker. It's decent against Abaddon. You can pop your shield and then you know, have your Spike Carapace active and stun him. Drain his mana reasonably well. And they now go for TA, which is something that Lumiere does play a lot of.
Yeah, this is a Lumiere classic. This is one of his most played carries, I believe. They ban out the Huskar as well, and this does make sense. Like, you could still get Huskard mid, and then you have an offlane Batrider with 4 Spirit Breaker, and that's totally reasonable. So they might actually just ban out the mid laners that are hard counters to the Ember. I'm trying to think like what else you would do, because it's definitely safe lane Wind Ranger here. I would imagine. Like, I think you need an off lane for Brazil, unless you want to run a 3 Windy, but that doesn't sound great because then you have like Windy Ember as your.
I mean, people have been
Like,
playing both Ember Spirit and Wind
utility
Ranger
heroes?
as position 1, so you do have a little bit more flexibility with this draft on Brazil.
That's true. I just think a 3 would make the most sense right now for Brazil. And picking something that can play into the TA and play aggressive. The Death Prophet, I think, would have been a really good pick. But yeah, I think you're right. Maybe they could put the Ember Spirit in one of the side lanes.
I actually think that, speaking of Templar Assassin, by the way, I think it has like one of the lowest win rates of this patch. Believe it or not.
Oh, interesting.
98th most popular hero at 44.7% win rate.
Jeez. Why?
I mean,
I was going to say, why is it so bad? But I get it now.
Why?
Spend 2 seconds thinking about it. It's just an aura meta. TA does not do well in aura metas.
I mean, she doesn't do well in aura metas, and like her whole strength is like being able to do huge amounts of damage in her right clicks. And right now, if you want to do a huge amount of damage in right clicks, you just pick a universal hero. Speaking of Darkseer, it is a counter to the TA as well as the wrestling hero. That is a little bit rough. I have to play in too.
I was gonna say she's also not the strongest lane hero.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like side lanes are so important right now.
Yeah, don't you think it's a little bit bizarre that they picked the Templar Assassin into the Ember Spirit now that they deal with the Ion Shelf and the Darkseer as well? This is going to be a super rough game for Lumiere if he chooses to play the TA.
I mean, it has to be Lumiere's TA. I can't imagine you would take TA mid offlane Batrider. It's something you could do if you really wanted to try and avoid this Darkseer lane. But I think you're fine just putting TA bottom and having a Batten with shield, and just you shouldn't die in that lane. Like, you probably shouldn't die in that lane as long as you pick up Psyblades and meld, but we'll see. Last pick here, I would guess, would be your off lane. I'm just trying to think what you would pick here. Something that can actually shut down this Wind Ranger. Is it Wind Ranger Mirana lane? Or are you running... Because I imagine Darkseer Nyx would be on the same side as opposed to Darkseer Mirana.
That's probably Wind Ranger Mirana lane. The Nyx Darkseer is just like a much better at setting up kills. You have multiple stuns to work with. You can vacuum them into an impale. Like, there's a lot of combination there to work with, as well as just playing melee heroes works a lot better with the Darkseer, so you can abuse the Ion Shell. So it's almost certainly going to be that. Last pick is almost certainly, yeah, it's going to be Alone on his Shadow Fiend. I mean, it's his most played hero. I am not surprised, but I'm not very optimistic about Team Peru's chances here. Again, they fall back on something that they're comfortable with on almost everybody, but Team Brazil has a very scary lineup here that happens to be very good against most of the heroes on the side of Peru. So draft-wise, we did favor Brazil last time. We're going to favor Brazil again, but I don't think they have as much of a shot as Argentina.
I'm going Peru, man. I think this Shadow Fiend is going to literally dismember this mid lane Ember Spirit. Like, could you say December Spirit? All right. Anyway, Shadow Fiend should... Neff, I think, might have just died a little.
That is our last game together today.
Shadow Fiend is, in my opinion, anytime I see an Ember Spirit pick, if Shadow Fiend is still in the pool, this is the hero that I always want to play. Like, it is just such a rough lane for an Ember Spirit to play into. Like, you can't actually come to the wave. You can't push the wave. Like, your you know, level 1 flame guard that you want to use to shove the wave into the enemy hero doesn't do anything. So yeah, I think Alone is going to just pop off this game. I think he's going to have way too much damage for them to deal with.
We'll see. It is Alone's signature hero. If he's going to pop off on anybody, it will be the SF, and the lane is pretty reasonable for him. We'll see how much these supports are able to come in and assist and kind of push, bully this SF away from the runes. I know that Mirana is pretty amazing at that, but so is Spearbreaker on the other side. So I guess it just all comes down to gameplay. But this mid lane is definitely going to be the place to watch this game. That's kind of going to decide this game from pretty early on, I feel.
Yeah, I'd agree. I feel like that's where we're going to see a lot of the action. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. We got game one of Brazil versus Peru in a best of one. I don't know why I said game one. It's just one game. That's all you're getting. So the winner of this looking really good. Brazil needs to find this win if they want their chance of actually advancing here in this IESF World Championships. Peru looking for their second win here today would put them in a really good position.
Yep. It looks like we're not going to see too much action at the beginning of this one, unfortunately. Both teams placed observer ward nearby the mid lane and are hiding far, far behind it. I want blood at the beginning of these games, man. I want to see action. It looks like they're holding out on us here. I want to see these level 1 bounty run fights, but you probably lose this one on the side of Team Peru. Brazil, obviously, having the Dark Seer to work with. Ion Shells at level 1 are quite scary. So, nothing going to come of this one. They are moving a little bit further forward here on Team Peru. I don't think Gigo gets himself caught, though.
No, probably not. I am going to be curious how this Abaddon
He's going to go for it.
Does. Hiko, unless he surges, is dead. So he is going to surge. But now you're level 1 surge on a Dark Seer. I think usually dying there is probably better.
Yeah.
That is going to be really rough.
Don't have Ion Shell to work with. It's going to make the lane much harder. Yeah, for sure.
You actually can't do anything in this lane now. So they do end up taking the Wind Ranger mid here for Zeus. Did you point this one out to dodge the lane?
I didn't point this one out. No.
So yeah, they take the Wind Ranger mid to dodge the pretty rough matchup of Shadow Fiend versus Ember Spirit, and they will put Ember Spirit in the safe lane up against Vitaly's Spirit Breaker and El Micho's Bat Rider. Dude, you really just have no idea where any hero is going to go anymore based on this current patch.
I mean, yeah, you kind of know. But again, I am surprised that it is. I mean, we knew that it was going to be like the Dark Seer alongside the Nyx Assassin up in the top lane, for example. You had a pretty good idea it would be a 5 Abaddon, not a Kiara. We know it's going to be Lumiere on the Templar Assassin, his most played hero. So, again, just doing a little bit of research on the players, you can kind of figure it out. But absolutely, it was smart for them to dodge the Ember Spirit versus Shadow Fiend lane because, as you said, it was nearly unplayable, and this is a matchup that Alone is quite familiar with. Even now, like Sooth is getting the beat down from these raises stacking up on him, and probably has to sit a little bit further back at the moment.
Yeah, he's got his level 3, so the second point in raise does some work here. He's going to have his bottle coming out in a moment, and Sooth's, with his bottle already delivered, should be able to top himself off and then contest for that 2-minute water rune, or at least slow down Alone from getting there. But bottom lane, Mini won't have the damage to bring down Vitaly on the Spirit Breaker, so he's going to be just fine. They did commit the Blood Grenade. I think both Blood Grenades for this, actually. So,
yeah.
Resources
Fortunate that nothing's come of it. Speaking of Blood Grenade, they committed it down the bottom lane.
They do manage to find the kill there, yeah. You know, I have been seeing a lot of Bat Riders go this build. Like, I played Bat Rider in the offlane recently. I went 0-1-2, just picked up 2 points Firefly, ignored Napalm entirely. So it's a little bit interesting.
This is insane to me.
Taking so much damage in the lane. This is a really nuts bait. He does have a raise in 1 though, and that's gonna be the kill. Alone, big plays from him. It is his most played hero, so like you said, not that surprising. He manages to find the kill 1v1 here.
Yeah, not what you want though. When you switch up who's playing where, just to make things easier to deal with the SF, and you still end up going down in a solo kill anyways, you are not off to a good start. But thankfully, they did manage to find the kill on the Bat Rider when he tried to commit down to the bottom lane. So Ember Spirit Mini, he's doing just fine here.
Yeah, they're having a decent time on the Ember Spirit. The thing is it's actually pretty decent into the Spirit Breaker game, just because of just how Sleight of Fist works, right? He can dodge out the charge, he can get a little bit of space against the Bat Rider, and he did go for an early point in the Searing Chains as opposed to trying to rely on Flame Guard. So he does have a good utility build here, and the matchups are actually pretty solid.
Yep. continues to zone the both Mirana and the Ember Spirit out of the lane. I mean, as this lane goes on, it does get easier for the Ember. One of the biggest strengths, of course, of this hero is the Sleight of Fist. He gets gone on, in fact.
He just dies.
Yeah.
Okay. Level 2 Greater Bash is good enough, and El Micho does have that 1 point in the napalm now, trying to just chase down Nuages as he's underneath the tower, tries to leap away. He's got 1 charge left, but Vitaly with the charge will grab him. El Micho denying to the tower as he buys out at the last second there. And this is a beautiful turnaround in the bottom lane.
Yeah. The Spirit Breaker actually opted to go for Wraith Band as his first item, just making it even easier for him to dive the tower, tanking up thanks to that extra armor that he's got. Good for that instead of boots.
He's actually not opting for a Vanguard. Okay. Bash into charge. Very good stuff here. Mini now has to throw the Searing Chains out onto El Micho, but he's got a Firefly in 1. And if he gets a bash here, Mini is super dead. He might die anyway since he's got these napalm stacked up. Nice Sleight of Fist. Vitaly, he's got a charge in 1, but a Searing Chains holds him under the tower. Good patience. The arrow just off the mark because it came off cooldown. So managed to survive in the bottom lane just long enough. So really, really good plays there from Mini.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Darks here was trying to cut creep waves far into the enemy side of the map. SF makes his way up there and gives a punish off onto him. Does give Zeus a little bit of breathing room to kind of catch back up to the Shadow Fiend. You can see he's a little bit ahead of him as far as CS goes, but net worth SF obviously in the lead of Wind Ranger. Thanks to 2 kills alone, has it under his belt already.
I'm surprised that Zeus has this much CS. Like, honestly, I don't know actually how he managed to do that.
I'll put that money to good use.
If you're looking for Radiant's
I mean, again, just continuing to spam out power shots. Whenever Alone moves to like go to the jungle, grab a water in, grab the bounty rune, refill his mana, just uses the opportunity to pull ahead a little bit. But
Nuages just pops the leap. Oh no. That's a pickup there for Alone, set up from the Bat Rider, as now they're looking for the Wind Ranger, but with 2 points Wind Run, not going to be easy. And Nyx Assassin managed to deny that 6-minute power rune. That's actually really big. They brought 4 heroes to the mid lane for this rune.
If you give up that arcane rune, then you just start snowballing further and further ahead there on the SF. So nice block there by them. They're going to try to commit onto Lumiere here, but instant Aphotic Shield interrupting that stun from the Nyx Assassin. In fact, they threw the tip onto him, saying, "Nice try, buddy." So we got action down bottom.
He's been farming really well on this hero. Does Mini get out of this? It's 2 points in this Flame Guard, but it finally does burn out, and El Micho will claim the kill. Top lane, though, the rotation in from the Shadow Fiend. He's trying to bring down Hiko, but he doesn't have any more raises left. He's out of mana, and Zeus just bring down Gardic there with a quick focus fire.
Nice find. So we wanted action. We've got action so far this game. 4-6 here at 7 minutes in. 10 kills on the map already. Honestly, I wouldn't say that's favoring either team here. You're off to a decent start on the SF. You're off to a decent start on the Templar Assassin. But despite getting solo killed in mid lane, Suits is starting to come back into it a little bit. Still ahead of the Shadow Fiend.
I'm gonna be curious what. Yeah, I'm gonna be curious what the Shadow Fiend ends up doing in terms of his item build this game. Like, anytime you're playing with a TA, you're gonna have a ton of physical damage available from her. She's gonna be a Deso builder, and combined with your, Presence of the Dark Lord, it makes me feel like you want to build more armor, or just more physical damage, like that pierces armor type of stuff. I don't know. What do you think? Like, the problem is you're playing into the Darkseer, right? And we saw the other day what can happen if you build a lot of right-clicking items against the Darkseer.
Yeah.
Oh, Nuage is in some trouble. Nice Nether Strike there. The raise is just on the mark as they're looking for Gardic now. They do manage to grab him. Alone does need to be careful here. Oh, you just get bashed. He does have the illusion rune to play around. A charge does come through, and Zeus with the power shot gets the kill, actually. Nicely done from him. And Nyx should be fine. Okay. He's out.
I saw the amount of
Dude,
HP he had, and I thought
sick
there's just
power
no
shot.
way that he manages to finish that one off. But yeah, it just barely clips the SF alone. Wasn't able to dodge out of the way. The one more auto attack finishes him off there. And they're about to grab the Bat Rider as well. So a lot of kills that I feel Brazil have no business getting. They managed to snag for themselves. And this is going to
it's a
slow
little
down
bit
the
strange
SF team
'cause
quite a bit.
Like SF had like Fairy Fire and 6 wand charges. Like if he wanted to, he could have definitely gotten out of that one. I think Hiko punished once again for trying to creep cut here, as he is having such a rough lane.
He died twice in that exact same spot up there.
Yeah.
But Alone is more than happy to move a little bit out of his way to help secure that kill off onto Hiko. But SF actually behind the Wind Ranger in XP now, half a level down on him. Speaking of Wind Ranger.
Hard to get into the mid lane. They've got another strike, and Suits is about to eat a double raise to follow it up. And this combo, man, very, very, very good from Peru. They are making it work. They get the lasso. They find the Mirana as well. The lasso actually doesn't really last all that long. But the charge comes through from Vitaly, and he gets the extra bash as well. Oh, my goodness.
The double bash off on him. I mean, he's got the extra movement speed from the Faded Brooch, the Wind Lace, the Phase Boots activation. There's just one hit with a greater bash there. 250 magical damage.
Yeah, it's just the charge into the bash, yeah. Top lane, Eco might meet the same fate. He gets bashed as well. Lumiere cleans up that kill. Now they're going to try and chase for more, but he had a trap down. That's slowing them up quite a bit here. They will not be able to chase, so Lumiere and Vitaly get out for that one.
Yeah, Impale already on cooldown as he TP's up there, so he's just not able to get that off and get the assist. But, I mean, we'll move our eyes back down here to the bottom lane where we see Ember Spirit Mini has had a little bit of time to himself. Didn't have the best start to this game, but now everyone's attention has been kind of dragged elsewhere. He's going for Radiance as his first item.
I was about to ask how you felt about that.
I mean, it's a good item. I'm just not sure it's the item for this game. He's gone Falcon Blade first, so he's not gone straight for it, but saving up for this one does give Team Peru an opportunity to get a pretty significant advantage before it's done.
They will find the Abaddon here, which is at least something. I wanted to... Oh, they actually find Seuss in the mid lane. We'll come back to that one. But the Radiance... It feels like it is pretty good at dealing with like these right-click cores because of the the evasion and the mischance that it provides. But when you're against a Wind Ranger, it's almost guaranteed you're gonna build either an MKB or a Nullifier, and now you're just kind of forcing them to go for an MKB, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about it for that reason.
Oh no. The charge into all three. He's doing some work here on Vitaly. He gets a bash back onto the next assassin, who's Lumiere. Tries to finish him off. He ends up burning to El Micho as the lasso catches the Darkseer as well. He's got a surge in one, but the physical damage is too much. Now Nuage is the next target here for Peru. He gets him on the bash. Seuss comes in with a nice focus fire, trying to bring down the Spirit Breaker. He's doing a good amount of damage, and it should be enough to finish him off. It is. On the other side of the fight, though, El Micho finishes off Fat Mirana, and Mini forced to back away.
Yeah, he's only got 3 points to the Sleight of Fist, so he's not able to spam this one out quite as much as he otherwise be able to. Up to max Flame Guard first for more of a defensive build instead of fighting the enemies, and we're kind of seeing the weakness of that now. The fact that he's got, like, again, 3,200 gold saved up. This could be a really active Ember Spirit right now. He could have his Maelstrom done like a little while ago. Instead, because he's going for this Radiance, like, yeah, it's going to be great at doing AoE damage. As long as you can exist in the fights, they'll be fine. But you've allowed Team Peru to build up this 5-6k net worth advantage here 13 minutes in. And he might be kicking himself a little bit for it now as he realizes the enemy team is further ahead than they should be. He's got the gold for the first component of it, though, 3,400 saved up.
Yeah, TA having the Dragonlance and the Death, so I think is really scary. And Alone, yeah, he's got Dragonlance Yasha, so he's going to go for this early Manta. And it's not going to be easy to find the kills onto the Shadow Fiend. Like, he's going to be doing a ton of damage to these fights. He's relatively tanky with his build. And they are just going to go Roche. I mean, I guess with an Abad and having the Deso done, you definitely can. Pops the borrowed time. And maybe they've sniffed this one out. They know that Roche is up, but it's just too little too late, I think. Well, is it?
I'm not sure
it's still got about a quarter HP.
Assassin's like making a beeline for it.
He's going to be here just in time. Gardic has no ult. The question is can he hit the 2 hero impale? They drop the wall. The impale onto 2. They're going to snipe the Roche from right under him.
Oh my god, Brazil are back in it just like that. The Radiance is just about done as well. He gets the Aegis on the Ember Spirit. This is going to allow him to play aggressive. You go for a risky play like that, you get scouted, the game will turn on its head.
Dude, imagine if they can get this Wisdom Rune steal as well. Like, they don't have a hero over at there quite yet. Nuages could have beelined for it. As the tier 1 is falling as well. I think you have to check for this Wisdom Rune. There's no way. But they'll just leave it.
I guess maybe they don't feel comfortable going that deep to the enemy side of the map, especially as the TA starts to respawn. I mean, that's exactly where Lumiere went as he got back up.
Yeah. And they just had vision on it thanks to the Watcher, so I thought like Nuages might just beeline over there on the Mirana since he can just leap right, but decided to farm up, play it a little bit safe. TA still the top net worth despite that death, and cleaning up a massive Ancient stack, but we're going to see a smoke play come through. They're looking for the Abad, and they do force that borrowed time. This is the Radiance reveal, right? This is not bad. He was going to find a lot of stacks here in the jungle as well. If they can clear these up, it's huge. March through from Vitali. It's going to connect onto the back line. Mini able to dodge it out, but the damage there. Alone's got a DD. You have to be very careful. This guy is pumping out some serious numbers here. Hiko with the surge away. He's going to be fine, but Mini, they catch him with an arrow. He's gone. Lumiere trying to clean it up, but stuck underneath these heroes. The wall is there. He's got Sooth, and now a second life on the Ember Spirit. Can Lumiere get out? It looks like he will be able to for now. As Mini still searching to slight the chains, it catches the Bat Rider. The Paro shot comes through.
Yeah, but without the Flame Guard, you don't want to kill it onto Lumiere. Lumiere would turn around and kill you in like 2-3 hits at the moment. You can burn through it, great, but not at the moment. There's vision of this Bat Rider thanks to this Observer Ward that Nuages placed. So, in fact, he sees Lumiere now, and he sees how low HP he is. This is just going to be a free kill.
He's got another Refraction. He can do a ton of damage back his way, but the arrow again from Nuages snipes him. Gardic unable to keep him alive as they will grab the Shackle now as well. And Brazil looking like they're trying to take back full control of this game as they get themselves 2 more kills, and this Ember Spirit is now very farmed. Second on the net worth chart, 1,700 gold in the pocket after this Radiance. He's having a great game. Yeah. The Ion Shell, Radiance, as well as the Flame Guard, so much damage.
Yeah, just from existing beside people. So I imagine after this, he can start building himself up a little bit more tanky, because his damage, again, just from existing. How much? Like 60 damage a second from the Radiance, another 55 from the Flame Guard. It's going to be 105 once he gets to level 15 talent. Another 90 from his Ion Shell. It's just absolutely insane.
I like that decision to go top there and try and grab that wave, but Ember Spirit needs to be careful. He is being charged. There's another strike, but he saw the whole backline there and does not want to commit, seeing Zeus, Nuages, as well as the next assassin. Just a little bit too scary.
Yeah. You know, the insane part about all of the fights that we just watched is that was off the back of the Aegis getting stolen. Like, if TA never goes down there, Ember Spirit doesn't complete his Radiance, continue in that fight there. No. So the game has kind of turned on its head off of that one play there. So take note, everybody. You go for one of those risky Roshan plays and you get yourself caught. It can cost you quite a bit. Dota will just swing on its head like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a good call. Like, when they saw, I mean, they had known about the Deso. It's just a really sick play. They actually find TA again. And there's no way out. Zeus catches him with the focus fire. And on the other side of the map, they are looking for this Darkseer. And Lumiere does trade his life, but Alasso catches the TA. They're buying back on everyone. They want to get in this fight. Zeus trying to chase down the Shadow Fiend alone with the Requiem, does connect, trying to finish off the Mirana. He gets the kill, and now Zeus is in trouble as he's trying to run away here. The wall does go down, the Vacuum back alone in some problems himself, but he does miss another raise, finds the kill there, and now Mini on the Ember Spirit. Does he get out of this when he's doing so much damage, but it's not enough. 4 dead now on the side of Brazil as Hiko, he buys back for this one. He needs to get out of here. He's Surge about to expire, but Vitali is close by, looking to chase. Doesn't have another Nether Strike quite yet. El Misho's got damage, trying to burn him down. He's got another Napalm stack. It's enough. He gets the kill, and El Misho should die here under the tier 3 tower.
He does. Isn't able to get the Blink Dagger off to be able to disjoint that last tower auto attack, but all of that set up there. I want to say that the MVP of that fight was Gardic. Getting that instant Dephonic Shield off as soon as the Nyx stun came out onto the SF, that's what kept Alone alive. That's what let him click down Mini there on the Ember Spirit. This guy is not nearly tanky enough,
absolutely.
If people aren't disabled, you are not going to be able to stand your ground right now on the Ember. But we've got an absolute bloodbath of a game on our hands here. 18 to 25 here at only 19 minutes in, and Peru has managed to bounce back after that last team fight that they played very deep into the enemy territory. Utilizing these heroes to run at you very well. Yeah.
Dude, this the Shadow Fiend plus TA, like, it's a lot of physical damage, and you're playing heroes that aren't known for having a lot of armor, right? Ember Spirit, yeah, he has a little bit because of his Agi gain, but you haven't itemized for armor yet. Gets a Yasha. Wind Ranger, not a very high armor hero. Nyx Assassin, you know.
Yeah, and one thing to note
it's
alongside that is Alone has actually opted to skip his 10 talent just to max out Presence of the Dark Lord first.
I actually like this. I think this is really smart. And he goes for the Presence Aura at 15 as well. So he wants to be able to have this to be able to push towers.
Yep. Understands how important it is to have, like, stack up this minus armor alongside their Deso. Surprised that they don't have like a Medallion on their team, but not really a support hero that's awesome at carrying it here.
Yeah, your Abaddon wants to build utility, right? He's got the Pavis. Or Pavis. People keep saying that it's pronounced like 7 different ways. Man. I've seen like a dozen Reddit threads being like, adjust glasses. Excuse me, but it's actually pronounced this way based on this type of lore. And, you know, then the next Redditor comes around, adjusts his glasses, like, excuse me, but this guy was wrong. It's actually pronounced like this.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot from nerds who have glasses on. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to keep saying it's Pavis, because that is what I believe it is. And I am right, so that's all there is to it. Alone's going for an NKB. That's going to be a big item. He managed to find these kills in the last fight even without it, so that's going to change this game quite a bit.
I fear nothing that moves in the night.
All right. MKB be worked on by Alone. Will make this game a lot easier. Mini smoking around with his Radiance disabled, trying to catch heroes. He's got himself Vampire Fang, so he will be a lot tankier, have a lot of spell life steal in these fights.
Dude, Lumiere,
I imagine
he actually was so perfectly placed to dodge this smoke.
Yeah. It looks like they want to mount a counter attack.
They're just gonna
here.
go themselves. Look at how farmed this Bat Rider is, dude. This is a 4th-position Bat Rider with Blink Force Staff. Like, he's just looking for anything into Lasso at this point and pull them right into these like Shadow Fiends, right into the Spirit Breaker. You need to be very careful. They're gonna go ahead and try and cut the wave here on Alone. Misses one of the creeps, unfortunately, but Gardic walking up forward, walking ahead, will just throw his body at them. As again, he does have his, you know, borrowed time to buy into space. Alone with the Requiem does come through, but takes a ton of damage there from the Nyx as a response. The Lasso, though, has found the Ember Spirit. He gets the save. He's out. The question is, can they get more here on the side of Brazil? Jump forward from Lemire. They're looking for the Wind Ranger. She doesn't have a Wind Run for another second. She silenced up the arrow. Not going to be able to do much. Is instantly dispelled, and Hiko takes a beating from this TA. And Mini, he gets a remnant away. He's trying to survive, but he goes right into the silence of the charge from Vitali now coming through as well. He's got to get some space between them. He doesn't have the mana, though. He's got one remnant left, but it's only a matter of time before this SP closes the gap. And alone, he's coming through as well. Does he have the damage? 2 raises. It comes through, but it's not enough. The Walkers with a nice arrow to buy some space, but they should be able to chase him down as El Micho is here to offer his assistance. And Nuages, he should be out. Is he? There's another strike in one, actually. Vitaly might be able to find his kill. Oh, nice blink stun out from the next assassin, but here comes Gardic once again with the Pavins, with the Aphotic Shield, able to save his Spirit Breaker. And Peru crushing these fights once again. Zeus is back and alive. They saw these TPs, and El Micho is thinking maybe I can go in looking for the lasso, but doesn't manage to find them. They could go on Zeus. They get the silence. Woo. Lasso, it's looking to be there. He will connect, but a nice wall of vacuum onto 3. They managed to take down the Bat Rider, and this TA illusion, it's doing work. They've managed to trap it, to turn around completely. TA will fall. Gardic will be next. 3 heroes dead. Hiko, a beautiful vac wall there, placed on top of 3.
Yeah, they do manage to find the punish there. I was thinking that they're probably overstaying their welcome at least a little bit there. And yeah, they end up melting. So 15k advantage turns down to 12k, but still comfortably ahead on Team Peru. I feel like Brazil here have just decided to take fight after fight, despite not being very tanky at all. Like, all you have on this Ember Spirit is Yasha Radiance. Like, yes, if you could blow up any of these heroes while they're stunned, it would be great, but Abaddon's keeping everyone on the side of Team Peru alive a little bit longer. You need things like BKBs, Scotties. He's actually working on a Satanic right now on the Wind Ranger just to be able to survive this initial burst damage for long enough to be able to actually fight into Peru's team. Right now they're struggling with that and just kind of bleeding numbers for it.
It does give her a dispel for the silences as well, which is kind of being problematic for her. And, you know, if you have the focus fire on someone and get silenced, you might be able to just pop the Satanic, full heal back, maybe reset the fight. But you're right. It doesn't feel like you're doing enough damage, whereas Alone has his MKB and Lumiere picked up his BKB looking for an MKB next as well. So you have all the answers right now to these evasion heroes on Brazil. And Gardic, once again, just do the exact same thing. He's like, screw it, man. I'll just run in them. And they get the lasso. They find the Nyx. The Fears caught the Ember Spirit as well. He will be able to remnant away, but 2 dead immediately to start this fight as they find Nuages. That will be the 3rd, and El Micho is not done. He is looking for the Ember Spirit, and it's enough time to set up a charge from Vitaly. And that is going to be 4 dead now in Brazil as Peru, looking so damn strong, as now they can go right on into the Roach Pit. They will wait for the double meld here.
Nobody helps steal Roshan for them this time around. Presence of the Dark Lord, all these meld strikes. Roshan's just gone. And now they have to play on the defensive. I mean, we've seen teams mount a defense with the Darkseer before, but this game he's just taking a lot of deaths in a row. Right now you're 3 and 9 really on Hiko. Definitely struggling. Complete control of the map. They're going to take the tower down here in the bottom lane, just be able to box him into the base even more. When Spirit Breaker picks up his BKB. Again, you're so far away from your next item on a lot of these heroes. Wind Ranger is like not even halfway to the Satanic that she's working on. Ember Spirit. Oh.
They get the lasso again, catching the Nyx assassin. He gets the Spike Carapace off for the moment, but the Nether Strike from Vitaly was ready and waiting.
Underneath that Sentry Ward that Gardic just placed. In fact, they buy a gem right now. They don't want this Nyx assassin sneaking around. They don't want them to have any vision outside of their base at the moment. And they catch Mini.
Well, they found Ember. You already popped the Mantha. He's silenced. There was two traps there. Can they actually get him a 3rd trap, Mini? For the moment, do they not have detection? They don't.
No, they don't.
He
had no business getting away with that from that one, and Mini knows it. 3 silences in a row, but no detection. Remember, cores can carry detection too, everybody. Got 1 Sentry Ward right now on Gardic, but they're chipping away at this tower. But they just have no way to fight into them. And they have to burn through this Aegis as well.
Is coming. Oh,
aggressive
nice aggressive Force Staff there. But it sets up a lasso onto the Wind Ranger, and she gets absolutely melted. She does have buyback, but that does give the level 20 to TA now. So Meld dispels online Vitaly. He finds the Darkseer on the charge. He gets another strike. There's no wall. That's the big part of your fight. No buyback as well. Alone just going to start laying into this barracks. He's got a Cheese and a Manta, plus the Abaddon behind him at all times. Vitaly with another charge. He finds the Ember Spirit here. He's got to be careful, trying to get away. Nice Force Staff save here from El Micho as they will walk back. And they just go building to building.
Yeah, this looks like it might be the end for Team Brazil unless they can mount some amazing defense, but they just don't have the items for it right now. They haven't had the items for it the last couple of fights, and Peru's been giving them no time to build anything, and we can see now why Alone went for this Presence Effects buildings. They know they want to close this one out fast, not give them an opportunity to come back to this game. But 2 racks is down.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to back off now. Top rack still defended by the fact that Tier 2 Scout is standing, but actually can have the Wind Ranger.
Lassoed the Windy. They just go right in, and Suits is dead. A huge back wall. They'll trapping for. She's going to buy back. This is the best possible fight you're going to get. Ember Spirit on the backside with a lot of damage coming through from him, but the Requiem caught him for a moment. Mini might need some help. Lumiere, the BKB starting to expire, but he did pop the BKB as well. And the Aegis, he'll have himself a second life, trying to finish off this Nyx. It's not going to be enough. Now it's Alone, trying to beat up onto the Wind Ranger. The charge from Vitaly is there. Can it kill him? It is. Mini falling low as well. Alone gets the kill. Eco on the run, protected by the Ghost Scepter, but it's going to expire. They're going to buy back on the Ember Spirit, and Mini is scary. They get the Vac back into an Impale onto 2. He saves the wrong person. Shadow Fiend goes down. All of them fall one by one, and Lumiere, he's here on the backside trying to find kills onto this Mirana, but may have stuck around a little bit too long. As he does have the Meld there to dispel. Hurricane Pikes away. Blink up in 1. Lumiere with the TP out. He will make it.
Yeah. So top net worth here managed to survive that entire ordeal. You get a lot of gold there on the Ember Spirit, but you did have to expend yourself the buyback. You're down 2 sets of racks regardless of that one. Even though you managed to find everyone on the enemy team, I don't think this game gets any easier at this point. I think it's just going to be a waiting game for them to roll down the top lane, take the tier 2, and then close out with Mega Creeps. It's so hard after that fight. Still, they mount the defense regardless.
Oh, man. TA finds an Enchanted Quiver as well, and she's about to have her MKB, so 2 forms of True Strike now, right? The Enchanted Quiver, which always has True Strike, and then the bonus that you get from that MKB. She should be able to solo the Tormentor here, the double Meld Strike, and then the Refraction if she needs to pop it. TA is still one of the few heroes that can solo the Tormentor, as it will give that shard on over to the Spirit Breaker, so Planar Pocket, not the best shard this game for sure. We'll see what Brazil gets here on their Tormentor, as it will end up going the way of Mirana. Also not a great shard, but I guess an extra leap is not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I don't even really understand why this one is set up the way it is. The other one was cool. It just let you crit on, I think it's like for 1.5 seconds after you leap. It was neat.
Yeah, now it's just like a little bit of nuke damage. It's, I don't know. It's weird.
Anyways, we were talking about only this one tier 2 tower outside their base. It's kind of preventing them from closing out the game here on Team Peru. And they're not going to wait for the next Roshan, it looks like, before we're going for this tier 2 tower at the very least. Gonna group up in front of it.
Yeah, they just want to end it.
Don't want.
Alone picked up a butterfly.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that does make the Darkseer stronger, right? You know, having the wall does have level 18 now, so 120% damage coming from those illusions. And it now having a butterfly is pretty good. And there it is, Hiko. The back wall does catch to the Impale as well. But Alone's going to be saved. He's channeling that Requiem. Will be able to get it off for the moment. And the blink in for the lasso. They've caught the Wind Ranger. Suits targeted down. The Nether Strike is there to finish him. But Alone's dead on the high ground. The illusions were too much. And now Lumiere's on the run. Mini trying to chase him down. He's got the burns. It's enough. Mini on a killing spree now. 4 dead about on the side of Peru as he's trying to TP out on Gardic. But they get the Impale once again. And it looks like Brazil ready to look pretty strong here as Hiko gets himself a triple kill on that Darkseer. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to say I told you so, Neff, but Darkseer turns your weapons against you.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what this butterfly did in the hands of an illusion in the previous game. Tick was out onto Nuages, but yeah, the bat right on the backs of the team fight absolutely melted by the SF and the TA illusions. They're trying to come in on the Marana here. I mean, Jelly might just die for this one. Darkseer is coming in, but this is a pretty long TP here over to the outpost, and Wind Ranger unfortunately is going to take quite some time to get over here as well. You have a charge to try to escape if, yeah, he waits for the vacuum to come out before committing that one, so he does end up getting away. But yeah, breaking the high ground when the Darkseer has the opportunity to just blink vac wall onto you, as well as just into that impale. There was so much AoE damage there.
One thing to note as well, I mean, that fight gave Hiko an entire Aghanim Scepter. Like, he got about 3,000 gold from that engagement, plus, like, the minute or so afterward. As, you know, they end up finding triple Bounty Rune as well. So you now have normal punch. You have another illusion you can create of the Shadow Fiend in these fights, which, of course, it gives... Does it... the illusion gives Presence Aura, doesn't it? Or does it not? It does, 100%. Yeah. The illusion gives Presence Aura. So that's pretty big. You're going to have that -7 aura, 7 armor that it's providing, plus, of course, the butterfly for the evasion. It's good stuff. Dude, they are set up for this Roche top lane, and they're hoping someone takes this portal. They're going to start see it channeling. They know that this is happening. There's a silence. They get the stun. They initiate onto Mini, but can they find the kill first? They do. That's going to be a dieback. The lasso onto Zeus. They had the scan, but they thought they were safe. Wind Ranger trying to get out of here, but the damage from alone is too much. If you don't get the initiation, they immediately tap. The GG comes through. They've lost both their cores, and they know there's no hope left. It's going to be Peru that take the game.
Yeah. Brazil end up just crumbling at the end of this one. They try to mount one last defense, but Peru comes out on top. Some moments of brilliance from Team Brazil for sure. That Roshan steal off onto the Abaddon and the Templar Assassin almost managed to turn this game around, but I guess this squad being together for so long, this team Peru alongside Akoi, which is their DPC roster, I guess the experience paid off here, and it doesn't feel great to come off the back of a loss either to Team Argentina.
Yeah, definitely. I think overall this game was really fun. It was super back and forth between these two teams, but Peru just seemed to always take the more like important objectives. Like the several fights Brazil won didn't result in them like ever getting to the high ground really. Whereas like Peru's like couple of fights, they pushed so damn fast. They managed to like breach the high ground. Of course, that one final high ground defense where, you know, Hiku gets a beautiful back wall into multiple heroes. It was sick, and they did a good job in dodging the lanes early on, but I felt like this Wind Ranger was just super underwhelming, right? Like you're building this like Chrysalis Satanic just to try and survive these engagements, whereas you just get like 3 shots from this TA Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely part of the issue. They no one who could stand in front and start these fights for them, or like tank, so to speak. Meanwhile, you have just like Abaddon and Spiritbreaker charging at the beginning of the team fights, not really afraid of anything, and they're able to provide these heroes in the back with so much information. Peru never really lit up on the gas this game, you know. Again, the presence of the Dark Lord aura, these early minus armor from the very early Desolator is a sign they planned on closing this game out before they had the opportunity to build anything after this Radiance on Ember, and you end up getting the Manta style, but before you could finish off the Heaven's Halberd and anything else, you were down 2 sets of racks, and it was game over. So, not enough tanky heroes, yeah. And Peru just ran them over, so well played by them, recognizing the weaknesses here of Brazil's draft.
Yeah, I mean, that final call to go through the portal, like, they did scan it knowing that they were going to be there. We'll take a look at some of the replays from this last game, but you go through that portal, you know the other team's on the other side. Is it worth going for it, right? Like, do you just smoke up and run across the map? It seemed a little bit like a desperation play. Like, hopefully there's not the whole team almost, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just kind of hoping for that one. But again, we just see the strength of them, just they continuously running at Team Brazil, punish them here, using their heroes to dive the tower. And yeah, this is a nice play out of Mini. One of the times that he did manage to, get the chains off and punish the dive, but almost every other time here. Way too much damage coming out. The reactions felt a little bit too slow. This was brilliant. I thought that Brazil won the game off the back of this one. It was looking so rough for them. They managed to steal the Roshan kill and the Aegis around the same time they pick up that Radiance. They take a good team fight here as well. And again, you do end up losing the Ember Spirit. He gets back up with the Aegis. He wasn't able to finish off anybody else, but again, these team fights really going their way and shutting down the Ember, or shutting down the SF, making Alone take a couple deaths in a row here.
Yeah, I will say overall, like everything that they did this game, like they did. How do I say? Like, I don't know how to say. It's like they had an idea on how they wanted to try and shut down this TA, and I think they did. I don't feel like TA was the actual problem. It definitely felt like it was Spirit Breaker and Shadow Fiend, right?
Yeah. I mean, watch this. Ember Spirit tries to go in. The Nyx Assassin like comes up the back. He tries to get the Impale off. Instant Aphotic Shield. And so Ember Spirit isn't able to stand his ground. SF just like clicks him down here. And I think maybe if this fight had gone a little bit differently, the game would have been better for them. But Dota's just like a game like that where so many tiny little mistakes it can happen. They can just cause the game to completely turn on its head. So awesome plays utilizing that Abaddon super well there on Gardic.
They also like, I like looking at these fights. Like you always have this Spirit Breaker who just charges in like without punishment, and you have El Misho to follow up this engagement to always find a lasso. Right, that's the thing that was going really well for them as well. Is like every fight is all right. We charge, we initiate, we find Wind Ranger or we find Darkseer, you know, and then El Misho gets vision of the fight and he goes and lassos up an important hero like the Ember Spirit if he's still available. So like they had a lot of different big single hero lockdowns that was just controlling the fight, allowing this SF, allowing this TA to kind of just go ham.
Yeah. And again, there were some decent team fights there. This was the beautiful one, the huge vac wall coming out, as well as the Impale right after that. Batrider, he tries to pull back Wind Ranger here. Look at the damage the illusions do to him. 100 to 0. He just gets absolutely melted. Yeah. TA on the backside of the fight ends up getting melted by these illusions as well, due to the fact they picked up the butterfly. But this was the last really good team fight that they had. Yeah.
I mean, this looked like they might be able to pull themselves back into this fight, into this game, especially at the fact that you pick up the normal punch here. But this is exactly what happens. They come through top lane. It's the Ember that leads the charge who's on buyback. And it's instantly silenced from the TA trap into a charge. And when he dies, it feels like this game has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So good stuff. Good patience from Peru to just camp that portal, I guess. They just knew where Brazil wanted to play.
And it's well played. Ricky, who do you think the best player on the side of Peru was? I know we're not quite ready for the MVP yet, but who would you hand it to?
I mean, I'm curious. Like, I feel like it might be Vitali on the Spirit Breaker, to be honest. Like, he is so farmed on this hero, and he just started every engagement. Like, every engagement is him providing vision, providing, like, good lockdowns on heroes. Maybe it would be Gardic. I don't quite know. Like, it's like one of, like, I feel like it's got to be some of these heroes.
Gardic definitely turned some of these fights on their head. The Abaddon pickup, I feel like, was super valuable. Yeah, he didn't play any flashy. He didn't have huge amounts of damage in these team fights, but the Aphotic Shields coming in clutch, I think, at some very important times to allow them to turn this game around. But supports never get any love, Ricky.
Dude, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll take a look at what the
Gardic.
We'll have to see. I would say, we were talking about it before the game, like what it looked like, why people are picking up this Abaddon hero. I guess now we know, right? Like, it seems pretty decent. So I'm going Spirit Breaker. You're going Abaddon. That's what we're thinking?
Yep.
All right. Let's go and take a look at the MVP, see who's right. I'm going to guess it's probably you.
Oh, it's going to be Alone. 15 and 4. 39,000 hero damage this game.
Yeah, I mean, he played a pretty good game on the SF.
Building damage. Yeah, he did for sure. Ended up finding solo kills in the mid lane, despite the fact that the Wind Ranger switched up with the Ember Spirit. to be able to prevent Alone from just dominating the mid lane. He ended up popping off regardless. Super far ahead
That
of his
early solo kill
counterpart.
was huge.
Yeah. Just at like 10, 11 minutes in the game, he's like 1,300 net worth up on the Wind Ranger, so it makes sense. Mid laners get to be the flashy plays, but real ones understand the supports allow the carries and the mid laners to thrive and get these kind of kills, right?
All right. It looks like that's about it. And just a little quick update from the other games that were going on. It looks like Argentina has taken the series over Chile. So we actually will have 2 teams at 2-0 and 2 teams at 0-2. So that is. Wait. Do I have that right? Yeah, that is how that's going to be. So Argentina are at 2-0, Peru's at 2-0. Brazil and Chile are both at 0-2. There is going to be another 2 games happening tomorrow. So that's going to be Argentina and Peru, which will decide the tiebreaker, basically. That's going to be your first place team. So that series is going to be super hype. And then Brazil and Chile will be going head to head, which will be, basically the tiebreaker for a 3rd, 4th. So definitely stay tuned for those because those are going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, the other big game that's happening tomorrow is going to be the grand final match between Ecuador and Costa Rica. So we'll be back basically same time tomorrow with these games. I think we're doing the best of 1 first of Argentina and Peru. So you definitely make sure to come back for that. The winner will be advancing to the IESF main tournament, I believe, from the Southern Cone, which is what they want. And then we'll be following that series up with the grand finals of Ecuador and Costa Rica, which is a best of 3.
Absolutely. I want to give a big shout out to Argentina for surpassing expectations today and managing to take down Brazil. Super hyped to watch the match tomorrow. I want to see who comes out on top between Argentina and Peru. It's been a ton of fun. What about you, Ricky?
Yeah, man. I think that's going to be a sick game. This is, like you said, surpassing expectations a little bit. So we'll definitely be back, and I can't wait to see how that ends up going. But for now, today, that's going to do it. We've brought it to an end. Another fantastic day here on the IESF World Championship. So we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you all again here tomorrow at the exact same time as today. Again, my name is Cryptic. I'm here with Neff. As always, everyone, have a wonderful night.